people out here in a minute, but I just want to get back in and let the DM take over. So here we go.
So I guess you just need two of them.
All right.
Count Cassis with that thing.
Good to go when you are, John.
Hello and welcome to Dark Sun. As always, I am joined by my good friends and brave heroes. Last time on Dark Sun, our heroes had traveled across the treacherous sands and found their way into Nibene, the city of spires, ruled by the Shadow King. After their business in the jungles of Gulg was taken care of, they sort of poked around, heard some rumors about a group of raiders called the Unity, a group of people which kidnap and enslave travelers and mercenaries and bend them to their service. They're also waiting here in Nibene for their convoy, the Silt Sprite, Alton, a few of their other followers, and Talasir, the Bard, forwarding the ship across land while they, our heroes ride on Crodlu, like faster mounts than would be possible taking a slower route. We join our heroes today at the end of a long day, going to see an old friend, Argos, Windrider, as he has become less of a traveling, adventuring rogue and more of a stable family man and leader, patriarch of the Windrider clan. I'm going to move you to Argus's tent late at night in the Elven Quarter, the Elven Market District of Nibene. As you walk into the warm tent of Argos and his wife, you smell the smells of cooking food in the next room, and you hear their daughter playing in the smaller bedroom to the side. I did not make a token for her, so let's find a token for the little girl.
Just imagine she's there.
Just imagine she's there. Let's see. There we go. This looks like a little girl. There she is. She's right on the bed, just playing with her dolls. As you walk in, immediately, Argos gets up from his chair and, Ragnar! Oh, Malagos! And he wraps you in this giant embrace. Just lifts Malagos up off the floor, and then in turn, when hugging you, Ragnar, you lift him up, in a big bear hug, and he says, "It's been forever. Since the wedding, in fact." And he motions to Loba, and he says, "Please, take a seat. Take a seat anywhere." And you see he uses a couple of nice rugs with some pillows and whatnot, kind of spread out for everyone. And he takes a seat back here. Loba steps into the other room to sort of retrieve a couple of things, and gives everybody a chance to sort of walk inside and be comfortable. As the rest of you come in, Jared and Minor, you see before you a tall, lithe, black-haired, kind of not older. He doesn't look like he's a very old. He's an elf, but you can definitely see some cracks on the sides of his face. Like sun weathered, and definitely showing signs of being an adventurer. He's got lean, sort of like a runner's body. He carries himself like kind of poised. You could see that he is ready to spring and at a moment's notice should he need to respond to something. He steps up to you, Jared, and Minor, and he says, "You must be new acquaintances. I know my old friends, but who might you be?"
You can intro first if you'd like, Aaron.
My name's Snafu. Yeah, just Snafu. I met along with these guys. We were out on it. Me and a friend here were out on a journey, and we got tricked by some elves and sold into slavery. But
You see his eyebrow kind of cock up. He's like, "Do you remember the name of that tribe?"
of the elves,
Yes.
John, do I?
As a player,
you remember
no?
it
As
was
a
the
character,
Salt
yes?
Runners.
Oh, that's right, the Salt Runners.
Believe they were called the Salt Runners.
You see Argos kind of let out this exasperated sigh. He's like, I know Keylok would stoop to such a thing. I'm so sorry. The sin, the the Salt Runners are one of our more, let's say, exclusionary clans. They have kind of become a little bit isolationist, and it wouldn't surprise me that they turned to slavery. Let me guess, they welcomed you to their camp and fed you food?
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
sounds like our snafu.
and as he mentions, or as he says what he says, Snafu's eyebrow raises. And what do you mean by our tribes?
What do you mean?
He said that you said that was one of our tribes that has gone isolated.
I'm sorry, the Elven folk. There's about 6 of us in this region. We have, oh, of course, the Wind Riders, the Salt Runners. You have the Dervish folk. You have, let's see, there's Xanthok and his Sky. I think it was the Sky Skimmers. I'd have to remember. There's a few of us in operation here, but let's just say we try to avoid doing business with the Salt Runners at all costs.
Ah, well then.
I'm taking a little bit of notes.
You mentioned they lured us in with food. That was true. Speaking of which, you got any food?
Funny you say that, and he kind of gets up and kind of walks over to this sort of side table here. He grabs like a big dish and puts it down, and it's a bunch of candied fruit and stuff like that. He just kind of passes it around, and he motions for you all to sit around. He said dinner will be served soon. My wife is just finishing it up right now. We've already fed Medina there, so she's going to stay in her bedroom for tonight. But it'll give us a chance to kind of reminisce and maybe talk some business. He turns to you, Pyretta, and says, I can see you're a fellow elf like myself, but you look strange. Bit more. You kind of see him struggle for a word. He says, robust. And you kind of notice that all the elves that you've seen on Athos are kind of a little more lanky and athletic looking, while Pyretta does have a little bit more muscle mass to her. She's a little bit more compact. Like, you're both biologically elves, but it seems you kind of notice that the Athasian elves do have a little bit of more of a tendency to run a leaner, lankier builds.
So you're saying that Pyretta is dummy thick?
In a fantasy sense, yes.
Excuse me, are you calling me fat? She nods and says, I'm not from these lands, but I am searching for my past, you could say. My good friend Snafu here has seen fit, him and his family, to take me in for now. But as of the moment, I'm traveling with my companions here in search of answers. But you would be correct. I am not from anywhere near here.
I, for one, welcome you. Like I said, I'm sorry about the treatment of the Salt Runners. I heard that you were with your friend here, given into slavery, and I don't know how to apologize for that behavior. I'm sorry. Do know that I welcome you into my house, just like I welcome my other friends. I promise I won't try anything untoward.
She nods. Well, perhaps an apology could be arranged in the means of a future favor, but we shall see with your business with our group here.
But
In the background, you hear Snafu with a mouthful of food go, "It's good to know."
where's Snafu? I don't see his token.
It's disappeared into the ether again.
He grabbed the food and
Special
scurried.
ring.
He's
He grabbed the food and scurried away like a rodent.
But as you guys sit down, Loba comes back out. She's got a few plates with her. She kind of hands out just some like fried meats and onions and whatnot. Kind of ladles them over a bit of rice, and starts handing them out. Argus says, "So, it's been a long time. I haven't been to Balak in quite a few years. How is the old city faring?"
Well, you want the blunt, honest truth, or what the Sorcerer King would have you believe?
I know Andropinus
There we go.
prefers his grandiosity, but I like the blunt approach that we tend to deal in more.
Other than a religious culling of any and all elementalists who may be in the area, Balak, for the most part, is still overrun with nobles vying for any position of power they can in his favor.
Of course.
Actually, that kind of has to do with what we're currently doing right now. My current mission is to go see my grandfather up in, what was the place called?
It was this small
Starts with-
port town of Cromlin.
Yeah, Cromlin.
The Kremlin.
But also,
I mean, the Kremlin.
officially, I'm on business of the Sorcerer King.
Ooh, lofty.
Yeah. Other than that, business is fine. The vineyard is, I guess, blooming.
That's good. Ragnar, how are the Kingstriders coming along?
We are diversifying our portfolio, trying to become more of a force of good in the region instead of just a band of foolhardy mercenaries.
Loba's gonna take a seat right down next to you, Jared. And you sort of see Loba look over and she says, "Well, I always thought that what you spoke of your work, you did okay. I mean, you've protected towns and escorted trade caravans. That's not too unruly."
No, we still have a dark history behind us, and still trying to atone for those sins.
Oh, I wish you luck in that. Argus kind of looks back over and kind of remarks, I was told that there was going to be five of you that was going to spending the night with me tonight in my house. I happen to notice there's only 4 of you.
Do we actually know where?
At some point, Jesse's character has kind of went off with his man Jarek, and they said they were going to stop by, but they have not come by yet.
Oh, this man Jarek,
His man's.
boo. I'm about to have a chat with him. I thought I was his man's.
He often gets lost professing the virtues of one named Kiliani. He should be by sooner or later. He arrives late sometimes, but he usually shows up when he is needed.
That's surprising. Last time I saw Kiliani, he would head first through a portal into the realm of fire. But I suppose he's got a good story or two from that. But anyway, I have a small business proposition for the both of you. Now, I am trying to get through the pass up north to head towards the, let's say, neighboring city or two. I'm actually looking to start a trade caravan up to the city of Uruk. But I have to clear a path up through the Bremel Pass and up through the Dragon's Bowl down the Great Road. Now, I've been having a small issue with this group calling themselves the Unity. I don't know if you've heard of them. I know that there's been posters all around, but if you could help me maybe clear the road ahead and at least see that these Unity people are maybe pushed back a bit, I could make it worth your while.
I'll just I'll hold up my hand kind of in front of me like a stop motion, and I'll just say, you only need to ask. It is, after everything we've been through, a well-deserved favor.
Well, I greatly appreciate
At least
that.
for myself. I guess I can't speak for the others, but I know Ragnar and myself would be indebted to you.
I know House Sham is looking to give a nice, lofty reward. People say it's a couple thousand gold pieces.
Kind of look at the other two here.
A job's a job.
I've also been hearing speak of the Arakora being driven out of the Black Spine Mountains by this group. I've seen one of their folk kind of wandering the streets looking for mercenaries, but as of yet, that's all I know, is that the trade road is kind of heavily fortified by these raiders, and I'd like to be able to take my people through there with relative safety.
Well, for now, Malagaz, where you go, I go. If you think this cause is just, and she kind of looks over the fire and well paying, I see no reason not to move forward.
Well, if not for just the favor of a longtime friend, but also his people, I see no reason not to.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. I can give you, let's say, 80%. I will be coming with you, and then you see Loba kind of like look across the fire, like surprised, like, you will, huh? And he kind of looks like shrugs, like, I need to be there to make sure that they're safe. And Loba kind of like narrows her eyes a little bit at him and says, fine, okay, I guess we're making decisions without speaking to one another. You see Argus kind of look like sheepishly at you guys, and he says, like, I admit I might be a bit rusty, but I've still got it in me. And he motions to the sword that you gave him. He says, plus I've been dying to try that thing out.
And say, well, polishing up on one's skills is the best way to protect his own people.
Speaking of one's
He
own
glances
people,
over at Snafu. He's got a fresh, like, if people are glancing at Snafu, like what his thoughts are, he's got like a fresh mouthful of food, and he just kind of shrugs, like, sure, whatever.
there's extra. You see Argus kind of look over. There's extra portions in the kitchen if you're interested.
Not interested.
Big talk for a little man.
He says, speaking of folk, doing one's favor from one's folk, I have been hearing actually that there's been an increase of Dragonborn gathering up ahead at Cromlin. Is it something to do with maybe your work?
It very much could. There's a mystery person that I don't know of, or that I have the pleasure of knowing quite yet, who's requesting to see me. And I'm also going there to see my grandfather. If it's one thing I've learned is when you're lost, sometimes just believing in the way will open up new perspectives.
I have to ask, what takes you out to Cromlin? Not surely King Andropinus isn't just interested in a family reunion between you and your grandfather.
Well, he doesn't know that I'm going to see my grandfather. I'll kind of pull out the family amulet that I have.
The famulet.
Now, I'm only telling you this because you're a long dear friend, but this is actually an heirloom from my parents, and who knows even before that. But it's the only clue that I have to possibly the origin of my people. So-
Loba kind of stands up and says, "Can I examine that if you don't mind?"
Not at all. I'll hand it to her.
She kind of takes it and walks over to this table here. She digs out a couple of other like knickknacks, kind of like through a small box. It's like a small jewelry box, and you see her pull out a coin. And she turns to you. She hands you your medallion, and she hands you this coin. And you can tell that it was minted like a long time ago. But the thing is that this coin is your medallion. It's just a coin. And she shows it to you. She's like, "I got this from a trader near Cromlin a long time ago."
Trader or
She said that
traitor?
she's found evidence of a city ruined in the wastes called Guisno.
And that's
She also-
actually where I'm going.
Ha! You see, Argus kind of like, "That's my wife. That's why I married her right there." Well, it was also an arranged marriage, but it's fine. You see her kind of narrow eyes. She takes a seat back down, hands you the amulet back, and says, "I've heard of this thing called the voice or the caller in the dark. Something to be careful of. They say that a ghost or a spirit haunts the sands around Guisnal, leading many to commit atrocities in the city. They say that those that are touched by the way are a bit more susceptible.
DC's the way.
You might want to prepare to ward yourself from some sort of, I don't know, mental invasion or attack once you travel close to the sands there."
I've actually been cautioned already about this. I mean, I do appreciate it regardless, but I'm still searching for ways along the journey of how I can do that. All I know is that my father brought back the amulet long ago. I don't know what it does or what its purpose is, but it was left for me. And I can't help but figure out this mystery.
He heard a story once, long time ago, when I was kind of researching various things across Athos, but trying to find maybe some riches and some ruins and whatnot. And I did happen to hear a small bit about about Guisnal. I heard that their sorcerer king, the being by the name of Dragoth, had actually succeeded in becoming, if not a full dragon, then at least the farthest along that path that any one of them has come. Surely this must be why the sorcerer king of your city of Balak is so desperate to find the secrets of Guisnal.
That is precisely the thing he hopes that I will find for him.
Of course.
And again, between us, I can't say that
Windy City over
I
here.
like the idea of him having that sort of power.
Well, I've also heard that the city was thrown into the Silt Sea, so hopefully he doesn't have much to find when you don't have much left to find when you go through there, other than maybe some valuables for you and your sorcerer king to fawn over.
I hope so. But at the same time, I can't imagine how displeased he'll be if I come back empty-handed.
Argus says, "Well, of course, Andropinus will be happy if you just bring him a few jewels, maybe a few coins that you found and say, "Oh, that's just cities underneath the sand. Maybe if you
Oh, that
send
Gleason
that Cuisinol." You know, they get you with the promise of dragon powers, and then they just give you just a bunch of tourist traps all down there. I tell you.
Don't you know?
But yeah, the night kind of goes on a little bit longer. Um, you see that it is getting rather late. Like the candle kind of burns down. Dinner has been finished. You know, a couple more courses and some dessert, and it's getting time to to bed down. Um, you see Argus kind of looking like, well, I was looking forward to speaking with Kiliani again. Surprising as that it is. I guess I'll just have to see him in the morning, perhaps. But you said you're meeting your fellows that are coming in and off the caravan, bringing a silt ship with them.
Yeah, the Andrew Pinus saw it in his gracious heart to have another noble donate their personal silt strider to us. So we are merely borrowing it on our adventure, but...
Well, I trust the nobility of Nibid or of Balak was practically falling over themselves to ingratiate themselves before the Sorcerer King. Well, I shall accompany you and at least up until the mountain pass. I'll see if we can maybe make some headway against these raiders. I know that they'll attack, but maybe if we have a little bit more reinforcements, things won't be as, let's say, just distracting, maybe.
Mhm.
With that, I think we should probably get to sleep here. I know I'm getting a bit tired. And he kind of gets up and comes out of the room. He has some bedrolls and some more pillows and whatnot. He says, "Feel free to sleep right here in the common room. I'll tie up the tent. We have a couple of guards that are gonna keep watch outside." And
I suspect Snafu's already like in a bit of a food coma, so
Is good.
but I will see you in the morning, and we'll start making our way north. You see him and his wife return to the bedchamber, and you guys have a nice restful evening, being well fed, sleeping on some nice cushions, and the next day, you guys awaken in the Elven market. You see that Argus is kind of put back on.
Wait,
his
we
old
awaken in the
gear.
market?
He used to use a couple of daggers, but now he has a dagger and that scimitar that you gave him, Jeremy. He's got his kind of like long flowing, like purple cloak. He's got his like running sandals, and like some kind of jodhpur pants and like a vest over kind of like a loose open shirt. Lots of flowy sort of layered fabrics, and he kind of tops it off with pulling his hood over his head. As you all kind of gather up near the Makiliot gate to await the transport, you see it's about maybe 11 in the morning when it comes. The gigantic Makiliot caravan comes rolling in, and you see behind it a smattering of Kanks and various other beasts of burden, like wounded, like they were in a battle. And then you see the silt sprite coming down the way, and you see like some arrows like sticking out of the hull. But you see your men like on the ship, like, you know, kind of doing some repairs. You see Alton kind of at the top, you know, up in the sort of the crow's nest, making sure everything's going smoothly. And you see Talus here kind of like languishly leaning on the mast, or the forepart of the ship, with his lute kind of like just strumming along. As they pull in, the ship is kind of led off the Makiliot cart, like pulley cart, and just parked in front of the gate here, just outside the city. As you guys kind of walk up, Talus here jumps down. Argus, and the rest of your raiders come down. You can see that they have some cuts and some scrapes, but no casualties. Argus kind of walks up and shakes hands with both of the men and makes an introduction of himself. And Talisier walks up to you, Micah, and says, "You owe me extra for that whole thing, because that, my friend, was a nightmare."
Let's say, I mean, I am laughing, but I'll just say, I mean, was I not right to entrust this task to you?
We had, okay, I'll walk you through the nightmare I had. Okay, so we left towards the trading city, Altaruk, okay? We camped there for a night. By the morning, we were being chased out by raiders and beast giants, okay? So that was the first part. We made it all the way, crossing the desert sands, making it to the Great Road, and then at the Silver Spring, we were attacked by not one, not two, but 3 more giants. So let's just say he kind of looks at Ragnar. Is like, I kind of not want to be around him right now.
I'll look at Ragnar and be like, what do you have to say for yourself?
Listen, I had nothing to do with any of it. You have no proof.
I plead the fifth. I am innocent until proven otherwise.
Fine.
Yes. Witch hunt. Fake news.
Either way, it's been a journey. And just now, just coming in through the pass, there was a bunch of agitated raiders shooting at us, calling themselves the Unity, saying that we were going to be all one, and I had to murder like 4 of them. And you see you see one of your marauders kind of like raise an eyebrow, like, oh, you murdered 4 of them.
Like, oh, did you now tell us here?
Oh, it was so stressful. I mean, I almost lost my loot and I broke my sword. And you see, like, he has like a small like bone rapier, and it is snapped, and he has to like. You see him try to like glue it together, but it's just not gonna take. But he says, if you want me, I'm going to be drinking for a little while in a civilized city, not on the boat, not in the caravan, okay? I will be back in maybe 2 hours, and if I'm not, go find me. I'm passed out somewhere. So if you'll excuse me. And he just kind of marches off.
Peretta kind of interrupts before he marches off, and she's feeling a little playful. She'll coyly go up to him and, look him in the eye and plant one on his cheek and kind of be like, well, thank you, brave sir, for your service. And she'll kind of stroll off.
He turns, he's like, hey, about that bonus, don't worry about it.
You're welcome, Malagas.
And he walks off. Alton walks up with the others and he says, oh, he did embellish a few bits, but he wasn't lying. There was quite a few mishaps on the journey, but we were able to get everything through okay.
I'll be like, well, I don't feel like I really need to apologize to Tells here. He brings half the trouble upon himself when it happens.
It was his idea to go to that oasis in the first place, but he goes over the stores of the ship. They have gone through about 50% of like the supplies. He says, of course we lost some of the raids and the attacks. So they have about 2 weeks of food and water left for the crew. So they should be okay for a couple weeks. Other than that, he does describe that there was an attack at the Altaruk trading post. It's still in one piece. It's just heavily damaged. There's probably not going to be much trading going on there for a while. and they ran into a few like skirmishes on the road, but nothing too bad. Until they did get through that pass, and they were attacked by a motley group of raiders that kept calling
motley
themselves
crew?
the Unity. He notes that they were made up of various folk, like bugbears, some like just that Athens is home to many like mutants. That the sand and the magics kind of mutate. He says that there's humans, there's all manner of folk that they've kind of accumulated. He also saw one creature in the back that was very proficient in the way. He felt like
Dewey.
psychic stabs, like almost like he was fencing with someone while they were trying to get the caravan through. And he said that the creature never removed its cloak. It's wore like this heavy black cloak. It was long and spindly kind of frame. Like the arms were like long and thin, and it had these clawed hands. But it kept this heavy hood and this face mask over its face, and just sort of stayed in the back, attacking with the way, while these waves of just raiders kept pouring after the ships.
Could he? Well, I guess this is more of a DM question. If I do what's it called? Let me find it.
What it do?
A mind link with Alton, would I be able, as a player, to see the picture of it?
I'd say yeah. He sort of meditates, and you sort of find a small quiet spot while everything's kind of getting unloaded and reloaded. And you see this sort of stone like canyon that goes through like this narrow pass that leads to the mountains, and there's like a fork in the road. And you see this group of raiders they are very motley. There's some with armor, some without armor, archers, melee fighters, and whatnot. And then you see him look up toward like the top of like this sort of outcropping of rock, and you see this creature, and he wasn't lying. It's about 7 foot tall. It's dressed in this kind of all black tattered cloak with like a gray robe underneath. And it's got this face mask that's sort of, it's like tied under its eyes, and the hood is pulled up, and the face mask like droops down almost to like its mid chest. And he's got these long spindly arms, and then you see like this thing's eyes like flash red, and then through Alton's vision you can feel this sort of psychic assault come on like over him, and he's able to beat it back. And you see that after he like makes this psychic contact with him, the creature like sort of like pulls its cloak and then just like vanishes. So whatever the creature did, he was surprised to encounter another like way user kind of out here in the middle of nowhere.
Those guys are attacked by some sort of motley crew?
Yes. I hear their drummer has quite an impressive, boat. We'll say boat. And as the vision fades, he kind of comes back and says, "It was very strange. I had not seen anything like that in a long, long time. And I mean, I'm an old man. I've been around."
Well, Athos is definitely full of surprises when it comes to the way.
So, I can get the ship moving. If we can hook up the Crodlu, we can sort of pull it like a cart until we reach the Silt Sea, and then we can take sail again. With the levitation throne, I can make it pretty light, about as light as a wagon. So we shouldn't be too bad so far as getting this the rest of the way, but I wouldn't maybe take it too far. He says, "I'm actually gonna." He's gonna pull out like a map he has procured. I'm gonna show you guys the world map here. So here's your caravan right here next to Nibene. Cromlin is circled in that purple circle there. He says if you get past the Bremel Pass, this road that's kind of like right here, that's kind of disappears into the sands. We can sail over that. It's not silt, but it should be like not packed enough to just, if we use the way, propel the ship at least through there, maybe at half speed. And then once we get to the Bay of Marais area here, we can sail like more.
And where was it that Argus needed us to go?
Through the Bremel Pass.
Okay, so it's our objective anyways.
Yep. As you see, Argus kind of like leans over and he says, I can accompany you through the Bremel Pass. That I need to hit the Nibenese road. Because we can take that through around the Dragon's Bowl to Uruk. But I can't travel to Cromlin with you. That is a little bit out of my way.
So is his business at the Bremel Pass? Is that where
that is where
Unity
the Unity has been spotted most frequently.
Okay. Well, it wasn't part of our agreement to have you come to Cromlin anyways. So we'll definitely see that we can resolve the problem at Bremel Pass before we go our separate ways.
Sounds good to me. Now, if there is trouble, and
Make it
let's
double.
say I get injured, I will have to run. I mean, I have a family and a clan I have to look after. I did get quite tongue lashing last night from Loba for not telling her that I was going on this little expedition with you, and I'd rather not get the repeat of that. Coming home, heavily injured, maybe losing a limb. So I might have to play maybe a background role a bit, but I can help you as best I can.
Well, I think your people don't need to know how much or how little you helped, just that you did help. So I think that's
Thank you. With that, he's gonna recommend that maybe you get some extra supplies for the ship. Just maybe take a day to repair it, and then you could take the next day to set out. Besides, Kiliani has not made himself present yet. So it might be a good idea to maybe track him down, see what's going on with him. As the sort of the town, you kind of get back into town to resupply maybe for this next leg of the trip. I will start with you, Miner. You get kind of one more day to find anything you might need for the road ahead. You know you're going to be heading through some rocky areas. You know that a group of raiders is going to be coming after you guys, and maybe, some psychic attacks. Maybe anything that you would like to pick up, or any sort of supplies you would like to get while you're still in Nimine. You have one more day to do that, so.
I'm looking at stuff. So. Probably need some food.
Okay.
definitely gonna need some.
So you have, the crew has enough for 2 weeks, so they can feed themselves for that amount of time.
Definitely not a cat.
I'm trusting you players to keep track of your own personal food supplies, and like food and water. Now we do know
I'm kidding, I have
that. Actually, Jared, you noticed after last night, you ate that meal with that. Did you attune yourself to that Ion Stone?
Yeah, I assumed I was working on it the second I got it.
When you woke up, you weren't hungry, you weren't thirsty, and it's like midday and you're still not at all. And it's really weird. but it's not bad. You know, it's just like you feel like you're. You ever hit that like perfectly full spot where you're not hungry, you're not miserable? You're kind of floating at that constantly.
Yeah, right now.
Um, so you do know that Pyretta will probably not need to be worried as much about the survival aspects of travel.
um, that being said, I was just gonna spend my time trying to repair my leather armor, maybe with mending.
Okay.
But I will go. I will go in the appropriate order.
Okay.
Just thought I'd
So-
announce it.
I gotcha. Miner, you want to go get some food. Jeremy, what did you want to do?
I want to work with. I keep forgetting the dude's name. My little companion guy. I want to work with him to like see how much information we can learn about the areas we're going to be going to.
Oh, Voron?
Voron, yes.
Okay.
Choking.
all right.
I'm so sorry.
Micah, how about you?
Yeah, I've kind of been keeping track of the ship supplies on my own, and just kind of combining it with my own supplies. So I think we're good there, at least for a little while. Cromlin would probably be the next place we.
Apparently, my buddy's on World of Warcraft.
Yep, you know it's a port town. It's not a giant trading hub like a major city, but there should be enough to at least get the crew more food and you guys, some more food for the road.
Gotcha. How long has Argus been in this city?
He says I've been in the city for 3 weeks.
Where are you going, doggo?
We just ran. We just
Back in
ran
the dirt.
from the Freedom area, near Tyr,
So-
and there was a little bit of conflict stirring there too. So, we decided maybe laying low in a larger city would probably for a while while things pass over would probably be a good idea.
Well, and he's been on the road quite a bit. I'll ask him if he knows of any ways, or maybe the right direction to go in to help against, I guess, psychic attacks, if you will.
He kind of looks, like he's perplexed for a little bit and thinks, and says, I've never been a practitioner myself. I know that there are some teachers that rich nobility hires as essentially personal trainers. A lot of people can manifest it if they put a lot of time and effort into it, but never seems to be more than just. They never seem to be, get a level of power above like party tricks. But if you're looking for a serious waymaster here in Nibene, I would definitely check.
G-Way.
I don't know. There could be by the Academy of Fierce Purpose. He said, kind of says K, the place where you would buy it was the sort of the university.
Yeah.
He says you might find a expert in the way there that might be able to shed some light on your problem.
Okay. About how long has it been since Telesir left?
I'd say roughly like 45 minutes.
Okay. I guess my first thing will be to find him and then head to K. If applicable. If not, and if you think that'll take too much time, I'll just head to K.
Okay. All right, I can do that. And then Jared, what did you want to do?
I'm looking to repair my leather armor. I do have mending, but the thought crossed my mind. Could I seek out Malagaz and some of his downtime between his actions here?
I mean, yeah, depends on how busy he is.
I'd like to seek him out and ask him. You see, my armor's pretty tattered. I mean, it's on its last legs here. I'm looking to repair it, but I got to thinking. I have some psychic components here that I could possibly add. I'm looking to see if that is a thing amongst your people in this way that you talk about.
Micah, give me an Arcana test.
Coming
Sure.
up. That is a 21.
You know that the the glands and various parts of psychic creatures have
That's
a
actually
certain.
what I was looking for too, possibly.
Oh, well, there you go. Have a certain protein that, when applied to armor, like a helmet or anything like that, it does provide a small defense against the effects of those attacks. Essentially, there's a thing called armor waxes that you can make an armor wax out of some of those materials, and make for a day. You will have resistance to that damage type. Because the wax does sort of rub off and dry up. It is not a permanent buff, but it is something that is sustained throughout a day.
Yeah, I'll relay that and be like, it makes sense to me that something like this would happen. You could probably find somebody proficient with that, or someone like an alchemist or something to provide a salve with those components.
How many psychic components do you have?
I have 3.
Okay. Mikey, you do know that you will need at least 5 to make one psychic armor wax. But you do know that some alchemists do sell such items.
Okay. Yeah, I'll relay that information then.
Okay. I'll thank Malagaz for his expertise, and I'll continue to repair my armor as normal, but I'll keep this new information in mind.
Okay. So I guess we'll start with you, Miner. As you kind of walk into the city, what sort of food is Snafu looking for?
Well, I was actually just thinking,
I'm gonna
I
write that
still
down.
have 4 pounds of Inex meat and 2 pounds of Gaj meat. Is there a way that I could, I don't know if it would be salting them or whatever, to prepare them in advance so they're just ready to eat on the go rather than cooking it every night?
Yeah, you could turn them into a salted meat. You might want to head back to maybe Argus's tent, because it's going to be a bit of a time to do that.
Right, I don't know if I was going to need any, some sort of seasonings or something for it, or spices.
So yeah,
Of course, Aaron would spend his day jerking his meat.
Right now.
as you head back to the Elven district, you kind of walk back to the tent. You see Loba and Medina sort of going through, just kind of doing some maintenance on some stuff. You tell Loba, what your plan is, and she says, "Oh well, yeah, we do that all the time with meat that we have to have on the road. Because we're nomadic. We carry everything with either on our backs or on mounts. So we don't really have time to break down and cook an entire meal every single night." She will go ahead and give me a. Let's see. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to use. I'll see you pick up your new cooking set today too.
I was gonna say that too. I got my obsidian
Yeah.
cutlery now.
You have your obsidian cutlery, so you have a chef's tools set And I will say, because it's like a masterwork set, you will have advantage on making checks with that thing. Go ahead and give me a intelligence check with that, so add your proficiency, and roll with advantage. She's gonna teach you this elven technique for preserving food.
Alright, so you said intelligence with proficiency advantage?
Yep.
It's a good thing my intelligence modifier is 0. Oh, that's a 16 still.
You needed to get a 15. She shows you that using this method, you can actually, it's going to take you a day to prepare up to 4 pounds. So this will be like your day doing this if you want to do all 4 pounds. But you can make those 4 pounds of food last you for 8 days worth of food. So each half pound of it, once preserved, has enough calories to make it worth a full day's food. She shows you like the special seasonings that she uses. She gives you like a spare sort of like a small bag. She takes a scoop, dumps it in, and hands you this bag, and says, just keep it with you. She shows you the technique. So anytime you would like to take some downtime, you can try to use your cooking. Let's say you could use your dexterity in place, but you had to use your intelligence to learn this method. You can use
Makes
your dex
sense.
to make 1 pound of food, essentially 2 pounds of food.
Okay, cool.
And you can do it up to 4 times a day.
Nice.
Alright, where to put this in my notes?
There's the tricky part. You can just call it Elven Cooking. Was there anything else that you were wanting to do? Because it is getting kind of later on in the day.
I said Elven Cooking, it's a technique to basically double the food, how long you can use food. And
Yep.
It takes how long or how many times can I do
It takes I'll say you can do 2 per short rest or 4 per long rest.
Okay.
And it's gonna be I'll say a dex check with your cooking utensils. And it'll be a DC 15.
And you said 2 pounds on a short rest, was it? And then 4 pounds if it's a whole day?
Yep.
Okay.
And by the time you're done with your technique, you have all your food that has been kind of salted and prepared in this manner so that you can eat it on the go. And the way it's cooked, it's a little bit more filling with less of it. Like kind of like extra, just extra calories added, so that half pound is worth a full pound. All right, was there anything else?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay, we'll say just until maybe like the evening, you guys can just stay here and maybe bed down again for the night, because he said like you probably won't get going till tomorrow, seeing as though we have to prepare this convoy. So we will move on to Jeremy. You and Voron, he takes you outside of the McKilliot Gate, kind of goes, let's say, he goes to like the cliff face there to the north, and he is sort of giving you the common tactics of like mountaintop raiders. He said they're gonna try to get angles on you from above.
Get the high ground on me. Oh no!
They're gonna get the high ground on you. So don't don't like brag about your power, then get all your limbs chopped off.
Does he tell me not to try it?
Don't try it. He sees you trying it, and he puts a hand on your chest like, "Don't try it."
Don't.
Go ahead and give me. We were doing wisdom, right?
Yes. Hold on 1 second.
Don't strain yourself. Jesus.
That was painful. Wisdom. Nat 16. Hell yeah. Plus 2, 18.
Okay. As you're sort of teaching you these techniques, how far along are you on your survival training track?
This is. I'm on 2 out of 4.
Now you're at 3.
Cool.
He also says that usually raiders will send in their waves of foot soldiers on both sides, and then they'll have their snipers pick off from the top. He says probably a good tactic would be to just dedicate to a side. So like, don't try to split up and fight this whole battle around you. Maybe just concentrate on one side and then secure that side, and that way they can't come at you from both areas.
Okay.
That's just kind of his 2 cents. But yeah, he shows you like some common like climbing techniques and like ways to hide and track people like in the hard rock. Give you more of your survival training. Was there anything like, it's kind of like a couple hours past? Is there anything else that you wanted to do with your day?
I'll just spend the rest of the day like gathering provisions or rations and such.
Okay. There was also that lady selling that half plate. I don't know if you remember.
I thought I picked it up already.
Oh, did you buy that?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that meant then you picked it up. You bought it. Okay.
What were the stats on that again? That gave me, I think, an extra AC point.
Yes. I have the handout here. Because you had.
I was equivalent chainmail with a shield. So now I basically have the equivalent of full plate with the shield.
Yes. You're gonna have disadvantage on stealth, but you are a little bit more bulky and defensive. You get this kind of nostalgic feeling getting like you slide on the bullet plate, like chest plate in the bracers, like, kind of. It's nice being in this sort of armor again. You have a lot of good memories. But yeah, you just gotta get yourself prepared for the journey coming up. Micah, you were gonna track down Talus here, correct?
Yeah.
As you kind of head toward the area that you saw him go into, you find yourself kind of in this busy cross section here. I'll say that your follower has gone with you as well, kind of as a escort. And you see Talsir kind of walk out of this building here, obviously a little inebriated, kind of stumbling a little bit, but you kind of catch eyes of them across this sort of cross street here if you just want to put your token in the middle. You see him kind of wander up, kind of pushing past this nobleman, and he says, "All right, I have had a proper meal. I have made some coin. I still need to get a new sword." And he just pulls out the half of the sword, and he just swings it, and like the other half that's busted just flies down the street. So yes. I need a new weapon. Micah, give me a perception check.
No, I had to do it to him because that's my best stat. Well, okay, I'll give you the classic argument. Am I investigating or am I perceiving?
You're perceiving.
Okay. All right, I'll take that. Let's see here. That's wisdom 20.
As you're sort of like standing around discussing with Talsir, you hear this voice kind of carrying from behind you at this one green sort of like market tent. You see what appears to be this winged creature, a sort of a biped. He's got this sort of purple cloak pulled over him, kind of covering his shoulders and his back. And he's got this kind of gnarled wooden staff. And he says,
I'll show you the way.
you hear him say, like, these are not acceptable. I need quality weapons. Then he's just sort of like, he holds up like a dagger and he says, like, this would snap on the first thrust. And then he like buries it into the table, but then you see like the handle kind of like almost snaps.
Be cool.
And you see that voice
Remain
hurts.
calm.
You see the shopkeeper kind of like push him back, and then you hear like, you kind of see some of the people around him,
John
kind of
drew
like
that, by the way.
gathering to see what this scene is.
He drew the Eric.
Kind of walking over.
Is it
And
that cool?
you see
The DM did that.
the merchant kind of step forward. He says, I won't have your kind manhandling my merchandise. Get yourself out of here. And you see the bird creature kind of like look around and says, all of you are useless. Absolutely useless. Then he just walks up indignantly, kind of past you. As you see him walk by Micah, you can see that he has like sort of totemic feathers and other sort of, you know them to be magical, like sort of talismans, kind of hanging from this staff. You can also see that it's also been weighted at one end so that he can use it as kind of like a spear. It's got a nice stone like thing to the bottom. And he's just kind of walking by. You catch his eyes for a second. And he stands like, what are you looking at?
I'll say, well, it seems we're
Well?
looking for the same thing.
Well.
I'll kind of gesture towards Talsir. I was like, we're actually on a journey to find a quality weapon for my friend here. It seems
Well-
you've ruled out one possibility.
Good luck with that. This city is nothing but books and scrolls and other things and never mind. Well, if you're looking for a good weapon, maybe we should start somewhere, let's say, not here.
Not here.
He kind of motions, he says, you might be able to find something better in the, let's see, the Elven market would be a good idea. You see Talsir sort of nod, like, I could go for some Elven market right now. Boss, I think I'm gonna go with this guy and, maybe check out some weapon places in the Elven market. Is that some, are we gonna meet up later, or?
Can you bring up the city map again, John?
Yes.
Yes.
Which one's the Elven Market?
It would be, E.
Literally the complete opposite direction where I need to go.
Yeah.
That's fine. We're not
Here,
going to
drunky,
leave today
drunky.
anyways. So, let me see here.
Do you need the map, or?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm looking at my character sheet. Okay. No, I don't. I was gonna see if I had something to give to him, and I don't really want to give him this rusty longsword. So,
Probably not a good weapon.
yeah.
Scraw. I love it.
I'll just ask that you stay out of trouble with our new acquaintance here. It seems he's
Talisker
having.
holds up his hands. He's like, I'm unarmed and I'm half drunk. What possible harm could I do?
It's the unarmed part that concerns me.
You see this sort of bird man look kind of back and forth, and he says, well, okay, if you're willing to help me, I suppose I could use a bit of company. He kind of extends like a big feathered hand. He says, Imperatrix, Wind Shaman of the Black Spine tribe.
I'll kind of do the anime like, oh. I'll be like, Malagaz, the pleasure is mine. And this is my friend Talasir.
Greetings. He tips a hat that he's not wearing.
Do you have a place to stay while you're here?
I've been staying outside of the city. I have found my way many a time in the wilds. Sleeping on the rocks and the stones, nothing new for me.
Well, I don't seem to have the time now, but I would actually like to conversate with you if you'd like to stay at our camp tonight.
Oh, well, I was maybe looking to stay in a nice place for a change. I will take you up on that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So all pleasure is mine. Well, I look forward to us having more time to talk later. Say, well, Talasir, make sure you take good care of our guest here.
Oh, absolutely. I have so many songs I have to run by this guy, and as they walk off, you see Talasir kind of pulling out his lute, and he starts strumming, and like immediately, like you see Paratrax kind of like look at him, and then like kind of like back his shoulder at you, like is this guy for real?
I'll just kind of shrug and nod my head.
All right, and then you just see them kind of plodding down the way, kind of heading back west toward the Elven Market.
Snapchat.
You know, as the sounds of Talasir's not very well tuned lute kind of disappear off into the distance. But you find yourself in front of the Academy of Fierce Purpose. It is a kind of a marble. You see in front of you the two guards standing in front, like a low ceiling in the front, and then this high marbled walls in the back. Kind of standing impressively amongst like the vendor stalls and the smaller buildings of Nibene. It's kind of to the south here if you want to bring your camera down. As you kind of approach the grounds here, you see the two guards not like actively try to stop you, but they say, "What is your business within the walls of the academy?"
I've actually come seeking some guidance, possibly some lessons from what I would assume to be home to an expert in the way.
The way.
You see the guard kind of look to the other one and says, like, I don't recall there being any masters of the way here. There is one place. Now, he kind of looks at you and he says, I can tell your nobility by the cut of your cloth there, and you would be welcome. He kind of looks at your marauder friend. He says, he might not be. If you were to head to the heart of the city, the Nagarakam, where the Shadow King makes his court, there's a place within there called the Temple of Thought. Within, the young Mistress Signhook is said to be a
Temple of Thoughts. Let's
the
go.
Sorcerer King and a
Let's go,
heavily
boys.
sought teacher of the way. If you have any questions about the way, she would be the one to ask.
The Temple of Thoughts is the way.
Alrighty. Well, I thank you greatly, sir. I believe we'll head that way now, and my escort might just have to wait outside.
All this talk of escorts and thoughts is getting me kind of warm, boys.
As you make your way from the Academy of Fierce Purpose toward the center of the city, you pass these massive gates of just black stone in the face of the human, Sorcerer King, uh, carved at like every corner. You see these guard posts like standing high. As you get to the main gates, right down the main road, you see them heavily guarded, but you see like groups of nobility like beyond these gates kind of like conversing with one another, obvious men, men and women of thought and of philosophy and of learning, rubbing shoulders kind of with the political elite of the city itself. As you kind of approach the gates, you see this time that they do kind of cross spears, and they say, what is your business in the Nicaragua?
I'll relay that I've actually been sent on behalf of the what was literally the place I was just at called?
Literally
Academy of
the
Fierce
place.
Purpose.
Yeah, I was sent by the Academy of Fierce Purpose to see construction of the protege. Insert name here.
It's Simhook.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. He says, all right, well, I can tell that you are a nobleman by the way you carry yourself, but I can tell that you are not the city of Nibene. I have not seen you here before. What business do you have with Mr. Simhook?
Well, I'm also a fellow practitioner of the way, and I'm merely just seeking a master for more guidance on how to hone that. I didn't see a more fitting person to
Dang
do
it.
that.
As you are kind of having this conversation, you see this sort of covered, let's say, carriage kind of come up, being led by a couple of, let's say, Erdlu, kind of the more birdy version of the Crowdlu.
Oops.
They wear these fancy adornments, and you see that the carriage is made out of this sort of jet black, painted like very well polished wood. The wheels have actual like steel rims around them, and it's got this sort of like high, veiled sort of back, and the driver is sitting on the front on this sort of bench. As it pulls up, the spears kind of cross. They say, "Make way for the Prince Drojot, Jokot." As the cart kind of pulls up, you see a hand, kind of a red hand, hold itself out of the cart, and you can tell. The guards kind of look at each other, and one of them steps up, and he sort of speaks to the occupant of the cart, and he
There
kind
you
of
go.
motions you over to the cart, Micah.
Okay, I will approach the cart.
I will approach the cart. Smart move.
As in to like get in the cart or just approach it?
Just to approach.
Okay, yeah, I'll just approach it then.
He says, you see this sort of shadowy figure in the cart. You can tell his skin is like cherry red. He has black fingernails, but it's a human hand. As he sort of leans forward, you see this young man. He's got sort of like this ridgy forehead that leads back into like a ponytail of human hair. He looks to be about
Trying to make an
a man
Instagram
in
post.
his mid-20s, but that's where the similarity to human kind of ends. You can see that at his waist, he's wearing this fine robe that kind of goes over his top half with an open shirt. but his skin kind of turns scaly and chitinous as you see he has what appears to be the lower body of a scorpion. His tail is sort of tucked in this cart. And he says,
Hello.
he says, I couldn't help but hear you were here to see Simehook, the young psychic mistress.
Yes, I was hoping to seek her guidance. I myself never had a master of the way, but I am somewhat of an awakened practitioner now.
I will grant you this favor. I am not particularly a fan of young Mistress Simehook. The way she speaks to my father is just so soaked with contempt. I wish to gather some information on her. If you were to plant, say, and he kind of reaches back in this sort of like silk bag, he pulls out what appears to be this little obsidian carved eye, but in the middle is a very realistic human eye. Like it looks glassy, like you don't even want to touch it, but he sort of palms it to you, and he says, "I will allow you entry into the I had to pronounce this place correctly once. Nagaramakam. Okay, Nagaramakam. Okay. I will grant you entrance into the Nagaramakam on one condition. If you were to slip this into her study, or just someplace that she frequents, I would be most grateful."
Well, I'd assume that you have your own reasons for this task to be done, and I certainly have to get in there and speak with her. I know not your motives, and that's no one else's business than yours, my prince, so I'll see what I can do.
Very, very good pawn.
Pawn. That's what you want to be referred to.
He does cut you off. You were gonna say something, and he cuts you off. And he kind of snaps his fingers, and just as quickly as the cart was stopped and you were talking to him, he already is taking off.
All right.
The guard kind of looks at you and he says, well, if the prince wants you in to do a job, I will allow you inside. Your guard must stand out here. We don't allow, let's say, ruffians within the walls of the Nagaramakam.
I'll look to Gildas and I'll say, if you could just wait out here, Gildas, I'll be back shortly.
Okay. Gildas kind of nods. He is very curious. He did not see what was in that cart. He's very curious. He just saw a red humanoid hand come out. That's all he saw. As you sort of walk through the gates, you can see the black cart kind of come back up into the like the inner palace, like the royal palace quarters. The guard says, if you're looking for the temple, it is behind the palace walls, just alongside the inner wall of the Nagaramakam. He kind of points around the other side of the palace. Hold on, my chair blanket fell down. Okay.
So like P is the
Yeah, I
palace.
got one of them
P is
too.
the palace. O is the Temple of Thought.
Okay.
The Temple of Thought.
This whole
Goddamn.
area is the Nagaramakam.
Yes, this is
Who
essentially.
doesn't
as you
wanna
look
go to the
around,
Temple
this
of
is, You see
Thought?
Templars like everywhere. They wear. Let's see. Every city's Templars are a little different. I want to double check my notes.
You got my note.
You see that a lot, if not all of the, actually no, all of the Templars are women. Various ages. You see some as young as 16, some as old as like 45, maybe their early 50s.
Isn't that a thing of the Sorcerer King here, or the Shadow King?
You do remember that the Shadow King is technically married to all of his Templars. They're as his wives.
Right.
As you see, all of the sort of they carry these sort of whips and
Damn!
like
It
sort
is
of
a
maces,
Temple of Thought.
you know, always armed for combat. But you also can see that there is also a guard presence here as well. The sort of the feeling of this area is one of opulence, as the common city is very well made. Like there's cobblestone streets in some of the streets, and like there's places of very well made structures, but the areas here are like opulent palaces. It's just carved marble. You see like a couple of gold statues here and there of the Shadow King. Nothing gigantic, but like a gold bust kind of like on a large pedestal, like in a big display area.
And busts. Woo!
As you sort of walk through toward the back, toward the Palace of Thought, no, I'm saying thought, not thought. You've gotten into my brain.
I'm like a disease.
Thought, or the Temple of Thought, excuse me. You see a lot more Templars in this area, kind of coming and going. You are led kind of by the guard that came with you. He's gonna lead you to the temple. Kind of walk up and pulls one of the Templars aside, and says, "The prince has awarded an audience with young Mistress Simehook. With I didn't catch your name. This nobleman from out of the city." He kind of motions you to this. I'll say she's like in her mid-20s. She's got this very furrowed, angry brow. She's very beautiful, but you can tell under this beauty is just this roiling pot of just ugly hate and malice.
This is the Templar.
This is the Templar, yeah.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. I'll just say I'm a Malagaz.
Well, Malagaz, it is nice to see someone from outside
Holy
of the city
crap.
City of Spires take
Jesse
such an
log in?
interest in our way of life. Mr.
Jesse's
Steinhook
in.
is inside. I can give you a small audience. Maybe no more than a few minutes, but if the prince wishes it, we shall give you one.
Right. That means I gotta rearrange shit.
As she leads you inside the Temple of Thought, you see
Like that.
that almost exclusively like women training to be or who are current Templars make up the majority of the people in here, but you do see a few other noble people like in the temple studying. You see them like kind of like doing the Luke Skywalker training of like sitting with their legs crossed, and they're like juggling like a series of like smooth stones in like two concentric circles like through each other. You can see a couple of people like levitating just like by a fingertip on the end of like a spike, like trying to like maintain their focus. She leads you through this sort of training area, through this sort of library to a smaller sort of side office off the library, where you see this younger woman. She's probably about 18. She's wearing sort of this purple robe, wearing like similar that you see to the instructors of the temple, but she has a completely shaved head, and she's got this large purple eye tattooed on her forehead. She turns around and she sort of like questions questioningly looks at the Templar and says, "Who is this that comes before me? I'm very busy. I have many lessons to teach this afternoon." The Templar kind of introduces, "This is a nobleman from outside of the city. I'm Sir Malagaz," he says. "Prince Drojat required an audience with you. He said he had a few questions."
Malagaz.
She just sort of bows and exits. You see Simehook kind of just like look at you, her eyebrow kind of cocks to one side, and she motions you to this nearby chair.
Yeah, I'll go sit if she's sitting.
She walks around to the other side of like this sort of carved stone desk. You see she rolls up a couple of scrolls that she had, ties them off, and then sort of slides them into a drawer. She says, "Okay, we are here. What did you need?"
I'd like to first just say that I'm not even sure where to start. Being in this temple is certainly overwhelming. To be quite frank, have always had a talent for the way, but never any proper instruction. I never had a master. It just kind of awakened, and throughout the years I've kind of just been self-taught. I never had any sort of guidance into it, just naturally progressed on my own. So to be into such a place is welcoming, but yet somewhat intimidating at the same time.
You see she doesn't move her mouth, but she says, like, telepathically to you, she says, "This is a test to see if you're fooling me."
I'll reply back telepathically and say, "I'm not trying to fool you, my lady."
Bitch, please.
Then she says with her actual mouth, "Good. I was not going to entertain a fool. No. It is very rare that I see Dre with the talent of the way. Mostly I see warriors of various castes and other sort of laborers, mostly fighters and gladiators, but not many users of the way. Tell me, have you ever met another Dragonborn with your similar talents?"
I can't say that I have, or at least if I had, I didn't know.
It's curiosity. Well, you said you had some questions for me here. Well, I don't mean to press you, but I do have quite an afternoon ahead of me.
Yeah. I guess two very simple questions.
Tonight.
The main one is my own, I should say. I know that in my travels and on my journeys, I mean, it's Athos. There's no way getting around it, that the way is everywhere, and whether it be a friend or a foe, you never know when you're going to run into it. I know how to use it, I don't really know how to defend against it. And I was coming seeking any sort of guidance or some sort of practice that you may have come across in your lifetime.
Well, unfortunately, it takes some time to train to become more proficient in defending yourself against the way. I can recommend maybe a salve or a wax of some kind against the damage that the way can bring in the body, usually by covering oneself. She just kind of describes the way that armor waxes work for psychic attacks. But she also says that sometimes powerful psychic focuses will help one's abilities sort of ascend to a higher level. She takes an Obsidian Orb, and she's sort of like out of like a small holder on the table, and she says, "I would like you to try to lift this and concentrate on it with your mind, and try to thrust your will into this orb."
Okay. I will, I guess, grab the orb. Am I feeling anything from it, just from touch?
As you grab it, it looks to be about a solid rock of obsidian, probably about baseball size. It'd probably be about 10, like maybe 8 or 10 pounds, maybe. As you hold it, it like is 40 pounds. It's just, its mass does not equal its weight.
I gotcha.
So you kind of struggle to lift it for a second, and you see this sort of wry smile kind of play across her face. As you sort of concentrate on it, you sort of like you're going to try to like maybe interact with it telepathically. You can tell that this stone, as you sort of go into it, actually has like thoughts and sort of will inside of it. In sort of layman's terms, she has sort of charged the stone with PSPs.
Oh, okay.
She sort of says that you can sense the latent power in that stone, can't you?
Yeah, I certainly wasn't expecting it to be that heavy, but it certainly does carry the weight of the will inside of it, or the
And
way.
it does. Now, that item, those are specially made by Templars and people such as myself for exclusive use by Sorcerer Kings and the like. I can't really say where you will attempt to get such an item, but do know that some items do exist. And maybe having an extra store of PSPs at your disposal could be a bit of a boon.
That's certainly at least the right direction to go in, I feel. I guess that was my main objective to coming here. And then telepathically, I'll talk to her and I'll say,
Good night, night. Good night, night.
Actually, let me roll.
Okay, Brock. So good
Sight
night, night. Good
real
boy.
quick.
Sure.
Good boy. Who's a good boy? Good boy.
17. I'm basically just trying to figure out if what the prince wants me to do is warranted. I mean, it doesn't seem like she has any malicious intent, but I'm hoping that the role may help me see that.
You can tell that her eye, like when she speaks to you about the way, she doesn't do it from like a maliciousness or like a personal gain. You can tell that she does have a sort of like authentic appreciation for it. And that she's kind of just trying to further her own study, and being this protege of Nibene is sort of making that happen.
Gotcha.
So she's not like, she's kind of just here for the knowledge itself, where it comes from, or like what she has to, who she has to associate to gain that knowledge is not. It's not like I'm gonna kill any motherfucker that I have to get on top. She's just it's coming from a place of pure appreciation.
I gotcha. In that case, yeah, I'll continue with what I was going to do. I'm going to telepathically speak to her.
Okay.
Because I don't know what this eye does.
Okay. As you sort of contact her mind, you see her eyebrow does kind of raise.
I'll tell her to.
I can do it too.
Just be as casual as possible.
That's what he's saying.
Normal. I did come to you as seeking my own knowledge, but getting in here came with a price. I can sense through you that I think you're just a strong-willed person who really appreciates the way and seek to gain your own knowledge, but also pass that on to others. As you know, I was instructed to get in here by the prince. I'll say that I don't know what your relationship is between his father and himself, but he seems to want to keep an eye on you. And I'll kind of just look down, like with my eyes, at my pocket.
Okay.
I'll explain basically what happened, just through images on the way here. I won't say it, I'll just show her what I had experienced.
Okay. You see her kind of she just kind of closes her eyes and lets out an exhale of just, you can tell, like, frustration. She says to you, like, telepathically, the prince has tried numerous times to undermine my authority in training and in making sure that the Templars are given due credit and, let's say, proper preparation for their work. I would say that Prince Jojot is just a bit jealous of my relationship with his father. And I can tell that he thinks I am trying to insert myself into that power structure I do not wish to insert myself into. I know of this artifact he's given you. It's called the Seeing Stone. It's a rudimentary enchantment that he can make. I have found several throughout the temple. I would just, if you would like to leave it somewhere, I can detect it later, and I can make sure it goes to a place that I will not have to deal with it.
Okay. That was, like I said, I could sense that in your nature, you seem like a kind person. I don't know the trifecta or power struggle.
She kind of lets, like, I would not call myself kind. Capable.
No. There we go. But either way, I sense nothing but malicious intent from him. Whether that was just
You saw
simply
his- You saw his body. You
Yeah.
saw his face. That's what he gets for playing with magic that he does not understand. Now he simply wishes to find different magics to maybe, if not reverse his transformation, then complete it.
It's a dangerous curiosity.
The prince plays with what toys he wants, but does not understand. That's dangerous. So I will show him something that I know will not interest him, which would be most likely the library, which I know he probably does not wish to actually do research into the arcane. Or
Well,
into
it's
the way,
not intelligent, but
maybe
there's
find an easy
definitely
out.
life around.
I appreciate you bringing this to my attention.
I'll say certainly. I appreciate your guidance. It's the least I can do to repay you for the time and
I
effort
see a
you put
cat.
into a humble beginner, as it seems.
Your cat's butt was photobombing you for a minute there, John.
Yeah. I heard when she jumped off I heard her jump off the bed. I like felt it on the floor. Like, geez.
Yeah.
She sort of raises up, like, well, I believe this has been a long enough audience. I do have two pupils to teach. If you wouldn't mind, I will escort you out. And she kind of stands and leads you to the door.
All in the on the. Is there like a bookshelf or something?
Yeah, you're surrounded by like rows of books.
I'll make it look like I'm being sneaky. As we're walking by one of them, I'll just kind of stuff it.
Well, remember your wild talent.
Look like we're being
Remember your
sneaky.
wild talent. You can teleport a handheld object up to 30 feet away.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I think I
yeah.
have that anywhere on my character.
You gotta write that down, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just basically, like, you know how there's like a little bit of room above a book on a
Yeah.
bookshelf? I'll just stuff it in there.
Okay.
And then I'll basically, before our mind link ends, I'll show her the image of where it is.
She sort of winks and nods.
But yeah, then I'll just follow her.
She leads you out. You see, through some of the other training areas. She leads you back to one of the Templars, and she extends her hand and says, "Well, Master Malagos, it has been actually quite interesting to getting to know you. If you ever find yourself back in Nibene, try to contact me. I'll see if we can maybe have another discussion."
I would be honored, my lady. I'm sure I'll end up back here someday. Then I'll shake her hand.
Yep. With that, she just sort of bows and immediately is like, she's got like 3 people like, Mistress, we need to, and then like she's just kind of getting bogged down into the everyday running of this temple. You are kind of led by that same kind of mean lady vibe. Templar back through the Necronomicon, outside the main gate, and you see Gildas there just kind of like sitting on a stool, kind of gets up, straightens up, and then walks towards you. He says, so what happened? I see you're fine?
I'll say we'll walk and we'll talk. And as we're walking, I'll just kind of mind link with him to show him just like a summary of what happened in the cart and in there, and now we're here.
Hope your night's going well,
like,
Conrad.
You can see his jaw kind of drops. Like, I heard rumors about, you know, the
Yes.
the birds.
I'll cut him off and say yes.
But wow, no wonder he never leaves that place without a carriage escort. Whew.
I wish I would have known ahead of time.
You're lucky he didn't do something to you just by looking at him. Anything else you'd like to do today?
Did anybody say they were going to find Kiliani?
No.
No. Nobody cares about poor old Killian.
No, they didn't.
Okay. I'll head back to the group.
Okay.
To suggest that we look for if he's not there, then that we go look
If
for him.
he's still with
All right.
us, living,
Before
dead.
I get to you, Jared, I need to do something with Kiliani real quick.
Oh, that's cool. I took the one, so.
Okay. Jesse, hello. Welcome to the session.
Thanks for having me.
Last time we left off, you were gonna head to Argos's tent to kind of bed down for the night. But a little thing happened. So we're gonna turn the clock back to everything that just happened. We're back in last night. What is Kiliani doing to prepare, if anything, to go meet with
Should I have a
Argos and his
bonfire?
family?
I need to brush up on who Argos is.
He is your elven rogue that went along with you guys for a long time in the 4th edition campaign that we played in years ago.
Kind of like a scout.
Yeah. Cora was like your fighter. I think his name was Brogon or something like that. You had a dwarf cleric, and Argus was your rogue.
I remember Cora. Those other names vaguely sound familiar.
Okay. Well, Argus was there. That's all I can really say. He was like the rogue character that you might bring with you on certain adventures. But yeah, you do remember him from some adventures. I'd say Kiliani probably just like, oh, it's person.
Oh, hey, other guy that remembers
Hey.
me.
It's
Yeah,
like
he was
going to the
he
high
was the other companion we had besides Cora.
Yeah. It's like going back to the high school reunion and like, oh man, it's Jake Thompson-Dorf. Hey!
Chad
Like, oh
Mannington.
man, I sat behind you in math. So does Kiliani have any special preparations he's gonna do before, going to this sort of elven district?
Well, better question, why is Kiliani going there?
I don't know. Does he?
I mean, does it serve a purpose for Kiliani to go there?
I don't know. Does it? It's your character, man. Does he feel like he wants to go?
Yeah.
Not particularly. Did anyone else go?
As I'll say the time gets there where like everybody goes to leave, you and Jarek kind of just move off, like casually, just like not saying anything, not bringing it up to anyone. You just sort of drift, like down a lane.
Like that gif of
kinda
Homer
walk around.
backing into the bushes.
Okay.
So it is the night It is the nighttime in Nibene. Unlike other cities, like Balak has a bit of a nightlife, but the nightlife of Nibene is kind of a little bit more active. You see a lot more torches lit, a lot more people out in the streets. You see cafes and bars, inns, taverns opening up, kind of like outdoor seating a little bit. It's a little bit more of a metropolitan experience. As opposed to kind of the sort of the, like lockdown that goes in like Balak, especially into like the tight fist of Andropinus. So you have like thoroughfares and openings and stuff not to go. What would Kiliani like to do with this night on night of the town in Nibene?
Kiliani. He meditates silently.
If the trailers are rocking,
Anything?
don't bother knocking.
Oh, I'm looking at my character sheet.
Okay.
Didn't we get like a bunch of gold last time?
Yeah, you guys got paid by Leila Lepue for taking care of the ore cave.
And how much did we get each?
That.
So I remember there was like something like we had it, but we couldn't divvy it out to like after,
I forget. That was.
I believe, what was it? What was it like? Somebody said it was like, I think it was like a couple thousand, but somebody said it was like, what was that, like 300 or some odd gold? I don't quite remember. Does anybody else remember the amount of gold that you guys divvied up from Lily Pue? Because I know, Jared, you didn't want any of it.
Yeah. I did not.
I think it was 2,000 divvied up 4 ways. So I'll say 500 gold.
I remember putting it on my sheet, but it's already incorporated with what I had, so I don't remember how much.
Yeah.
I
okay.
want to say the 2,000 sounds correct. That does ring a bell.
Yeah. So I'll say yeah, just 500 gold. That was like your share.
It's more than what I had, so I'll take it.
One is more than you had, so.
I think I want to find somewhere where I could spread my influence, spread the good word.
Okay. What are you
Called
thinking,
it.
like a tavern or like an inn? Maybe just like a thoroughfare. Like, what were you thinking?
Just saying, called it.
We mean called it.
He did say that's probably what you're doing somewhere.
Earlier, a couple of your really old compatriots were like, "Oh, where's Kiliani? We want to reunite with him." And I just said, "Oh, he's probably spreading the good word of himself."
You don't know me. Let's try an inn. Tavern
Inn.
people might be too drunk.
Okay. As you head into, let's say, let me get one moment here. We'll say the marked seal. You see, it is a sort of a wax seal of the symbol of Nibene, kind of like with a slash through it or something like that. It seems like a nice enough tavern. As you walk inside, I'm actually gonna grab a map.
Ooh. Visuals.
If you give me just a second.
No. Seconds over.
Dungeon masters, take note. Be prepared for random taverns.
Always a tavern. Always.
Always. You know what? We're gonna reach all the way back to our Elder Scrolls campaign.
All right.
And we're gonna pull out, pull out the Council Club. Why not? Why not? Let me pop over.
We take any requests, play that same song again. Okay.
It's funny because now that I say that, like I'm playing like random music in my Spotify like that I can listen to here, and it just kicked into the Skyrim like soundtrack.
All right.
What a coinky dink.
Play that same song. All right, same song. It
Same
is.
song. Let's go. All right. Let me trim this down a bit.
DM's making preparations.
And then align it to the grid. Sorry, give me just a second here. The way these wood planks are done on here, it's like really hard to like discern them from the grid that's pre-printed on the dungeon draft. There we go. There we go. That's a tavern. All right, Jesse, I'm gonna take you on a trip. All right. So you find yourself here in front of the Marked Seal Tavern. As you step inside, we're gonna make some patrons here.
I think it looks familiar this way.
Jarek. Ah, no.
Whoa!
A giant man.
He's been working out. Damn.
I mean, if he's cut like that, he can be.
And 3 stories tall.
I love these faceless villagers. They're just like, you can tell they're not anybody important because they don't have any facial features.
We're expendable. Yeah, he's right.
Right.
Look at him. Alright. Let's
Put a Nibene guard in here too,
adjust
just
this.
because.
There we go.
Like elf mail. We'll put elf mail in here.
You've got elf
There's
mail.
the guy that died last session.
Kurobu came back.
Love it and Ganga up here too, why not?
And Noname's here too.
No Name. Okay. So as you walk in, there's a smattering of folks. You also see kind of tucked in the corner, a sort of abject, like covered in a shawl, like purple shawl, like bird creature. He's got his staff kind of leaning up against the bar, and you can see he's getting a lot of looks from the surrounding people. As you kind of walk in, they do that sort of thing where like the commotion kind of stops for a moment and then picks back up. So as you walk in, Kiliani, the bartender kind of nods and says, "Take a seat anywhere. I'll be with you in just a moment."
Uno momento.
As you kind of look across at the various patrons, some of them look at you, not really pay you any mind. Oh, you gotta take a seat at the bar. Okay. Jarek will sit right up there.
I could change my mind when we're in the middle.
Okay.
Musical
Jarek will
chairs
sit-
over here.
Actually, he'll sit like right here to keep an eye on you, but not get in your way.
Agreed.
He just sort of like
drunky,
leans his
drunky,
axe
drunky.
kind of against the bar. Bartender looks over and says, "Well, what'll it be?"
The house special.
She just, without looking away or breaking eye contact, she reaches, grabs a mug, and then just pours like a brown liquid out of like a glass jug into it until about like top, like almost the top, puts it down and slides it forward.
Thank you.
She nods, says, "Cider, house special." There you go. Anything else?
Cider? Nice.
Kitchen's about ready to close up if you need any food.
I'll say, no thanks. I'm too excited to eat right now.
She just kind of like, okay, and kind of goes back to her work. As you look, you're surrounded kind of by a smattering of other people. There's a dwarf next to you, stout, his legs not quite reaching the bar, sitting in a human-sized chair. You see, the other older man next to you, the bird creature kind of like awkwardly sipping through like the side of his beak, like another mug. And just, patrons kind of all about. Actually, there's 2 guards down here. Paste. There we go. Just kind of sitting at a table conversing. So what do you like to do?
Ask someone if they have any up dog.
Who would you like to ask?
No, not really. I'll say hi to the bird dude.
Okay.
I'll say hi to the bird dude.
Or you're just gonna like shout across the bar.
Hi,
Yeah, I'll
bird.
move next to him.
Okay. As you get up and sit next to him, he kind of awkwardly looks to you and nods and continues to drink his drink. As you look at him, you can tell that he is a man sort of faith, or of like tribal faith. You can see his staff has like feathers and like bird bones kind of tied on like leather straps to the top of it. You can also see that the bottom is also like has a stone base like that is tied to it, so that the end of his staff can be used as a spear if it has to be. He kind of looks and says, "Ah, what brings you here to this night, the stranger?"
Oh, I'm just passing through on my way to Tyr.
I have never been to such a place. I am trying to find a way to get back to my home.
And where is that?
Upon the ridges of the Black Spine Mountains to the north. My people were displaced.
That's unfortunate.
Yes, very. My name is Paratrax, and he kind of extends a feathered hand.
I'm Anatar, and I'll shake his feathers.
He sort of nods and says,
I'll ruffle his feathers.
he says, I have not been to the lands of humans very often. You folk are quite, let's say, slow. Usually my folk fly whenever we need to get anywhere quickly. You amble about on those 2 wobbly legs of yours.
I mean, we don't have wings, so...
Well, obviously, some people were granted access to things. So I wouldn't say. You see him get kind of awkward. He's like, "I'm not trying to say I'm better than you or anything. I'm just trying to make an
I'm
observation."
not a racist.
Yeah, but I imagine things around here are a lot more exciting than, mountains.
Oh, that's where you're wrong, my friend. Hunting the mighty Kanks, swooping in and out of the caves and the canyons,
Getting
playing
cranky.
Scrabble. The life of a wind shaman is that of one of adventure.
He's a shaman.
Shaman.
Well, things are pretty exciting around here, and they're only going to get better. I'm on my way to Tyr because I hear the heroes of Balak
Tears
are on
for
the
Fears?
move.
Oh, I've heard of these folk. They killed their sorcerer king, did they not?
Of sorts, yeah.
Yeah. Perhaps they can help me with my issue as well. Say, you wouldn't happen to be traveling through the pass to the west, would you? Or the east, would you?
Am I?
You know that you're headed through that pass. Yeah, it's gonna lead north through the area to Cromlin, like your current destination is.
Yeah, my party will be headed that way.
Well, I have a bit of a proposition then. I'm looking to find a group that can help me take my home back. These creatures, they... What I'm going to tell you is going to sound strange, but I assure you, it all happened as I say. One day, we were just minding our business, living our lives up in the mountains, when suddenly there came a flash. It was blue and black and purple. It was like an explosion of something out of the world, out of something in the seas of the stars. It was this vast void. It opened up in like this purple orb, and then out of it came this strange black craft. Long, with chitinous, looked like a creature of the seas, it did. Like a lake, like a crab, or
Like
some
Nessie.
sort of beach snail. Yes, it peered, shattering rock, thrusting my people out of their home. When we went to investigate, these creatures came out, long black robes, thin, wiry arms, clawed hands, and they had this strange head. So many whippy tentacles. I don't know what happened, but soon they were attacking, using the way, making slaves of my folk. I was able to lead a few of us out to safety. I have them squared away in the mountains to the north. But these creatures, they've been taking over other folk, leading through that pass, that I tell you. I wish to free my people of these monsters, this unity that they call themselves. Then I can get my home back, and I can go back to the skies where I belong. Does this story sound strange?
Oh, I wish I could say yes.
You have the aura of one that has traveled much across this world.
You have no idea.
Well, I see you came in with that strapping fellow across the bar. Is there something you would be interested in, maybe in looking into this problem with me?
Oh, I'd have to
Consider for
consult
me.
the rest of my party, but I think they'd be open to it.
Where should I meet you and your party?
Where should he meet us in my party?
You know that your ship is coming in tomorrow. Probably by the Makiliot Gate.
Tomorrow by the Kiliot Gate.
Ah, oh yes. I'll have to prepare right away. I'll need a new weapon. This staff is doing me some good, but if I'm going to be fighting monsters, I need something a little bit more sturdy. Well, he kind of bows, nods to you. Motions.
A helmet made of lead might do him some good.
He motions to the barkeep. She walks over and he slams down. Cover this man's drink for me. It's a favor from one friend to another. And you see when he removes his hand, it's like just a bunch of bird bones. You see her like look up and like look at like. You told me you had coin when you got in here, and you see Paratrex. I'm like, I told perfectly good trade. Those are the thigh bones of many a bird. You know how hard it is to get those?
Say, relax, friend. I'll treat you. How about that?
Ah, well, you are quite an ally, Editor. I shall meet you tomorrow upon the Viciliart Gate. For now, I must be away. And he hobbles off the bench and kind of makes his way out of the bar, nodding before he kind
He
of
just
walks
scored
off
a free drink.
down the street.
He just scored a free drink, and you're never seeing him again.
I picture him.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. I don't want to get mind fucked by a
trying
bunch
not
of
to
mind
say it
flayers.
the entire
Right.
time. I was thinking he's that guy from Freakazoid in the trench coat who's like, "You want to see something strange?"
I think his name is like Jeepers or something.
I was trying to find a
Jeepers.
gif of him the whole time.
Leave the beavers alone, why don't you?
Yeah.
One time, and you come up here and ruin it. Okay, but yeah, when he leaves, you see everybody in the bar kind of like shrug, and go back to their drinks. You also see. Give me a perception test.
Perception.
14.
As you scan the bar, like the sort of the bar area like around you, you catch eyes with this person for like a second, and then you see their head kind of go down.
Alright, time to make it weird. I'll
Time to
start
make
heading
it
over
weird.
there, but I'll give Jarek a look.
Okay. Cherk nods.
Be like, "What's up, friend?"
The person kind of like looks and sets down their drink as they pull back their hood.
Dun dun dun. Big reveal.
A nobody has become a somebody. As she pulls back her hood, you see she's got this complex tattoo on her forehead. She's obviously half elven, and you can see she's got this her eyes kind of look like they've got these big purple bags under them, like she hasn't slept in like a long time. You can sort of sense that she is kind of trying to read you a little bit. She says, "I couldn't help but overhear your conversation with that creature."
Oh, which part tickled your fancy?
Something about the unity?
Yeah.
Well, let's say I don't think they're as bad as he says they are.
Have you ever met one?
Well, let's say I took a trip and I was riding north and I had this revelation that I could serve a higher purpose. I could bring the people of Athos together under one single goal. And I think that's when my life really did change for the better.
Interesting. I too serve a similar purpose. for serving and saving Athos and all its peoples.
Have you been touched by the unity as well? And you see her eyes kind of like, her pupils grow like kind of white,
Oh shit.
like almost kind of milky.
Oh shit.
I'll let my eyes grow bright blue for a quick few seconds and be like, not exactly.
As you do that, you see like she stands up and pushes the table back. Jarek immediately shoots to his feet. But as you do that, you see these three people also get off their seats and move forward.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
As they do, you see the objects on the tables next to them sort of float and then shoot in various directions. She herself kind of like curls her head, and you've experienced psychic attacks before. You can tell she's trying to get in your head. So let's roll initiative.
Oh shit.
19.
19.
Uh-oh. It's on. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Okay, the guards are also going to get off their keisters and get to work here. As they see things going, like getting thrown around, they're going to grab their short swords and their, you know what? Let's arm them with some of the Thasian weapons. How about that? They will have. Of caracals. Screw it. So we'll have big bone axes, kind of made out of like some sharpened
Boon.
femurs and whatnot. So yeah, D10, versatile, brutal 2. Okay. As you shoot up here, kind of grazing off your seat, you are actually first in the initiative roster here, Jesse. Let me label your assailants. 2, 3, 4. All right. So they kind of get up. You can tell she's starting to launch an attack. What are you gonna do?
Hell yeah, that thing is sweet. Yeah. I spent so much time outside last summer because of that awning.
Be cool. Remain calm.
Jesse, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm looking at my spells.
Okay.
Mm.
I just don't know if he like got DC'd or something.
No, I'm here. I'm pushed to talk now.
Oh, okay.
You don't see this on the X-Files.
I might as
I
well
like to
fill
do-
the
I-
sentence.
I like to keep myself just to speak to. I don't like to do push to talk because I like to talk with my hands.
Yeah, me too, but at Jeremy's request.
No, I mean I get it.
Because, you know, this purry right here.
You had your sensitivity so low, it's like I heard everything.
Your sensitivity is so lowered, everything.
You're a towel.
Yeah, heard all that.
But we'll see. Jarek will go. He'll go on your turn too.
Alright, I'm gonna hex her.
Okay. I'll mark her with a blue.
And I want to motion to Jarek to intercept the other two.
Okay. Is that the entirety of your turn?
No, I'll also draw my sword.
Okay. You notice that there are a couple of guards in front of you, so you do it subtly. Like you kind of reach into your cloak and then pull out this sword.
Yeah, like I'm reaching into a sheath, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, as you pull it out like a wave of water, like that's like splashes against the table and against the floor. And you have your sword.
I'll just nonchalant be like, oh no, my drink spilled.
Okay. Anything else?
That's my turn for now.
That's your turn. Okay. Jarek, on your command, is going to rush. He's going to berserk. You see him kind of flex his muscles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I just see him moving forward like, yeah.
6. He kind of intersperse himself between you and the rest of these people. At the end of your turn, it is going to be the guards. The guards kind of see what's going on, and they draw their weapons. We'll do guard 1.
Oh, when I hexed her, I'm supposed to choose a ability and she has disadvantage on those checks.
Okay.
I'm
What was that?
I'm gonna choose wisdom.
Okay. So as you sort of see this cloud of haze kind of fall over, you see her sort of scrunch up her face for a second as the hex falls down on her. The guards kind of get up, and this one is going to rush her.
I'll be right back. Gonna grab another
And
drink.
number 2 is going to move kind of in this direction.
Jump on this.
He will kind of push back these guys. They say, all right, no fuss. He's going to try to grapple number 1. And you see he does. So he kind of puts his hands around number 1's shoulders and kind of starts to get her into a hold. After he does that, and then number 2 is going to do the same to number 3. He's gonna try to get a hold of him. He fails. You see him trying to reach for number 3, but the third sort of Unity member dodges deftly to the side and just evades the grasp. The Unity members, number 1. You see the guard that's kind of grappling this woman. She holds up her hand and then makes a fist, in this like kiwi green like energy knife appears in her hand, and she just stabs down and back into him. She's going to attack with a soul knife.
Soul knife.
That's going to be a hit.
Stab, 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 stab.
What's the HP of these guards? Not much. That's... yeah, she'll take another stab. Okay. You see her go thwack thwack into like the underside of the guard, and he like falls back down dead. And she kind of holds this blade aloft. And you see just glowing with psychic energy. She kind of stares you down from across the table. Number 2. Actually, yeah, he'll do that. In a 60-foot cone, he fires this blast of energy straight across the bar. Go ahead and give me just a d20 roll for Jarek's intelligence save.
I rolled a 12.
Okay. Okay, unfortunately, he did not make it. You see him and the guard. The guard's like, and you see just blood flow from out of his nose and his eyes and his ears, and he just drops as he's kind of thrown back by this blast of energy, just crumpling into a heap on the floor. Jarek made of a little bit sterner stuff. Still takes the damage. He gets kind of pushed back a step. You see one of his eyes is kind of bloodshot, and he's got blood coming out of his ear, but he's still up. That was number 2. Number 3 is going to rush in and try to get him with a soul knife. It's going to be a miss and a hit, but not much damage. You see one of them kind of slide a knife toward Jarek. He's able to dodge and just gets a cut like across his midsection. The other one, number 4, actually is going to try to bolt. He's going to run kind of through this back door. He bursts through that, and then you don't see where he goes. So back to the top of the order is going to be you, Jesse.
Alright, on her, I'm going to cast Hold Person.
Okay.
So she has disadvantage on a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay, yeah, she rolled a natural 19 and then she rolled a 3. So you see the
Nope.
magic not quite slipping around, but then you are able to grasp it, and then she is held in place.
Okay, and since she's indisposed, I will move to support Jarek.
After you, is it the end of your turn?
Yeah, that was my action and movement.
After that, the crowd goes crazy. The bartender kind of ducks behind her bar. The dwarf bolts. This guy jives over the side. This lady's kind of like running for the corner. This person doesn't know what they're doing in the middle. And one of them kind of, I would say he's gonna kind of run past this other guy, kind of go to the back, and just kind of pandemonium like breaks out in the bar. Jarek's turn. He is going to berserk. He's gonna reckless attack. Number 3.
Berserker. Yeah.
It's gonna be 1 hit. And another hit. 2 hits.
A hit and a hit. Swing and a hit.
Alright. It's gonna be 17 plus 8. 25.
Oof.
Alright.
That smarts.
Alright, he is bloodied. You see him just swing all out against this guy twice. He catches him once in the arm and once in the midsection. And you see the guy's like soul knife kind of flicker for a second as like he kind of like loses concentration but is able to barely hold on. And Jarek is just like shouting as he's like tearing into this guy. But he leaves himself wide open, just taking like reckless swings. It was going to be the guard's turn. Now they are dead. It's going to be these people's turn.
Cool. Be glad to see you then, man.
There. I moved the wrong thing.
Hopefully I don't feel sick again. Last week, I've been kind of not feeling good.
She gets a save at the end.
I feel
of
good
her
now,
turn,
though.
right?
All good now. Just tired.
The person that you whole personed?
Yes, at the end.
Okay. This other person's going to soul knife as well.
Soul knife.
Does a 15 hit you?
Negative.
Okay, so the first attack, you're able to easily parry with your sword. The second swing, even worse. He's just, you can tell he's striking more of the fury and fervor than an actual skill. This one's going to attack against Jarek. He's going to get advantage. It's going to be a hit. And a miss. Jarek is bloodied.
Uh-oh.
Actually, no, I do the half
That's
part.
not good.
Bam. Okay. So you see Jarek take a pretty nasty stab kind of in the upper arm. He cries out in pain, but like he's able to bat away the hand of the other one. And number 1 does not make her save, so you still see her frozen like in place. Your turn.
Alright, I'm gonna cut up number 3 with 2 attacks.
Okay.
Got a 20 and a 26.
Both hit.
Total 36 damage.
36. All right. As you slash into him with your sword, you're able to you drive your sword through his midsection as he's trying to block, and he's just kind of looks down. As you pull it back, you do another swing, and he flies back. He actually lands in the fire pit, and just kind of lays there as he's bleeding out, and just starts to catch fire. Anything else?
Ouch.
So he is down.
No, that's it.
And on fire.
Thanks. All right. Jarek's turn. After you, it's the crowd. This guy's gonna bust out, and he's gonna shout, "Guards, go!" This person's gonna follow. Bartender and this person, the guy up here, are gonna still cower behind the bar. This person's gonna join them, and then this person's gonna run out here too, and see what happens.
Let's see what happens. I love it.
So yeah. All right. That's gonna be the Unity member's turn. Number 2 is going to. He already did his big attack. Yeah, he'll just try to knife you again. Oh, Jarek will move around. Sorry, he does have a turn. He's gonna reckless attack this person again. It's a miss. And almost a crit. Ouch. 15 damage. Dude, Jarek fucking hits hard.
I mean, do you see those gutters on his body?
Exactly. Okay, so that's going to be the Unity member's turn. Using a soul knife, he's going to give each of you one attack. Jesse, that's going to be a 17 to hit.
Ooh, close, but no.
And he's going to turn around as he kind of gets parried. He looks at Jarek and he's going to stab at him. He gets advantage on this one. That's going to be a hit. Ow. Okay, Jarek catches another knife wound to the gut. You can see blood starting to kind of pour out of his cheek as he suffered a lot of wounds. He is not looking good.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be your turn. Oh, we'll save for the other person. That's a 16. Does that break your hold person?
Hold on, I gotta look it up. Forgot. No.
Okay. Your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna swing at him with 2 attacks, and I'm gonna throw some Divine Smite into it.
Okay.
Put some stank on it.
Rub some dirt in it.
2 19s.
Hit.
He must be rolling a lot of dice. I almost knocked the can over. I have a little bit left.
Hold on, I'm doing mental math.
You're good.
27 plus 16. What's that?
33.
Yeah.
27 plus 16?
Yep.
No.
If you do 15 and 15, they make 30, and then you have 2 and 1 left, so it's 33.
27 to 16 is 43.
Yeah, 43.
I think it's 7.
Not 6.
Oh my god,
1
this
6.
newfangled math.
Yeah, so yeah, 43.
Yep. Okay, 43 damage.
Yeah.
They call it stem or something?
Okay, he is bloodied. I will say he's almost dead. You wound him severely. Go ahead and roll a d6. Ooh. Tell me what you get.
5?
You actually slash him once and then jam your sword down into his leg, and you can see it protrude out of the other side of his thigh. As you pull it out, he just collapses, so he's going to be prone.
next words are, I coup de grace him.
I'm gonna let Jarek do it.
Okay, was that the entirety of your turn?
Yeah, 2 attacks.
Okay, yeah, Jarek is just gonna swing wildly at this person on the floor. Yep. He just like, bam! And actually with his second one just breaks his bone axe on the floor, like shatters into pieces, and just completely decapitates this other person as his head goes rolling down on the other side of the floor there. It's gonna be their turn. I'll say it's the other people's turn. They're gonna keep running.
Smart.
The bartender at this point is kind of moved out to try to exit with these people. Yeah, that's good. It's gonna be her turn. Natural 1, so she is still paralyzed. Jesse is.
Natural 1. I got something for
Okay.
Welcome to your doom.
I'm gonna go over and lay on hands, Jarek.
Okay.
I'll do the full amount, 35.
Okay.
I have one
he
for
is not
natural 1 and natural 20. You got to see that one.
He's just thank you, master. These,
I'll be like,
these
we're not done
creatures get
yet.
hard.
I'll say we're not done yet, and I'll say knock her out.
Mama
you
said
see, he
knock
kind of
you
looks at his
out.
axe like it's all busted, but then he looks at one of the caracals that one of the guards was holding, picks that up, like takes the heft. Okay. You know, I'll just say, yeah, he just knocked her out. It's easy. Just conks her on the head. And she just do you release the spell?
If she's knocked out, yeah.
Like, yep, he conks her hard. You see, like, blood kind of come out, like, of her nose, and as you remove the paralyzation, she just slumps to the floor like a sack.
Big oof.
I'm gonna reach into her pockets and see if there's any money.
All right. Give me an investigation.
14.
She's carrying 36 gold, and as your hand reaches in, you feel this snap at your knuckle, and as you pull your hand out, you see in her pocket she had what appears to be like a small, almost like a worm, when it's got this like circular hook mouth that is like sucked on your hand. It is actually trying to burrow into your hand.
Ugh. No, thanks.
Can I hellish rebuke it and burn it with fire?
Yeah. As you
Because it's
unleash the
technically
hellish
attacking
rebuke,
me.
just like a sparkler, just and this small like whiff of like acrid smoke pours from the smoking body of this creature.
Nasty.
Alright, I'll take that. I'll tell him to bring her, and I'll take the 36 gold and just toss it on the table and look to the bartender and be like, for the mess.
She kind of looks and then just confused and just still runs.
Alright, and then I want to go out the back way, because obviously there's going to be guards.
Also,
coming.
movie exit.
Okay. As you guys, let me see here.
Oh, shit.
All right, I'm gonna do something a little disorienting, Jesse. Let me move these people out.
Move my people out.
Okay, so we're moving the scenery here. You guys are back here. This is the person by the fire. Give me a perception test.
Chest. Test.
23.
As you're sort of like looking at the body in the fireplace as you're like walking by, you can see another one of those worms that snapped you on the hand crawling out of the eye socket, out of the burning corpse. It is like a burning worm, like crawling out.
Well, now we know what Unity is all
Eldritch
about.
Blast that thing with 3 bolts.
Well, it's already, you can see that the worm is already on fire.
Oh, never mind. I'll let it suffer in pain.
I'm gonna unleash on it.
Uh,
Oh wait, never mind.
So it was your turn. He's gonna grab that. She's unconscious. Okay, back to your turn. So go ahead and move.
I'm gonna say to Jarek, hold her like she's our drunk compatriot. We're trying to make sure it gets home.
He nods. He's like, "I've been there."
I've been there.
He's got her like, kind of dragging her from behind him. Actually, you know what? He's just gonna throw her over his shoulder. He's fucking huge.
Yeah, that's fine.
As you
Alright.
step into the corridor, you see these two in a tussle. The number 4 has his psychic knife like pressed, like this guy's like trying to wrestle it away, and the guy looks like help as he's looking at this man, and you can see he's got one of those worms in his other hand, like trying to force it onto the face of this poor hapless.
Are
citizen.
we dealing with? Isn't this how a mind flayer gets a cult going? Oh God! Don't tell me we're dealing with flayers.
I will.
Those Cthulhu-looking bastards.
Oh, I did my full move. I'll Eldritch Blast him.
Okay.
Cthulhu Fatad.
Uh, 19, natural 19, and 23.
Hit. All of them hit. Says your hand kind of barks, or like recoils as you're firing these 3 cerulean blasts of energy. Go ahead and roll damage.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
31.
You knock him aside. There's a big burning
31?
hole, like smoking
Damn.
hole on his shoulder, not through it, but like a big scorch mark. As you knock him aside, this guy's gonna just bust through this other door and just like run for his life.
I'd say. Whew.
As he goes in there, you can see more bar patrons kind of like getting like what's going on and all panicking and just moving around. So you can tell that other area is probably most likely filled with patrons as well. But no, you don't see any signs of combat. This guy is gonna move. He's gonna. Oh, actually, hold up. It's Jarek's turn. I'll say he kind of goes right here because he's carrying her. He can't do much else. His turn. He's gonna rush at you, and you see like his eyes are white, and then they like kind of milky, and then you see them actually turn completely white, and his jaw distends, and you see 4 tentacles shoot out of his face, like where his jaw splits open, and they kind of pour out of like his throat as he like raises the psychic knife to try to cut across your midsection.
Yeah.
That
Looks
was
like
almost a
we
crit,
might be
but that's a
dealing
miss.
with some.
Yeah, no to all of that.
That's another miss. But then he's gonna reach in with
Nope.
the tentacles and try to like grapple your face with them. That's another miss. Maybe just because
That's
he
a
got
nope.
blasted, he's a little bit not very good at fighting right now. But you can see he does 2 wild swings, and then he tries to reach in with those tentacles at your face, and you just kind of dodge backwards. It's your turn.
Yeah, he's getting 2 swings of the sword.
Schwad.
Okay.
Got a 16 and a 27.
16 is a miss. 27 is a hit.
Alright, he's looking at 30 damage total.
Okay. As you slash down. Actually, how do you want to finish him off? Because you do finish him off.
I
I
hope
wanna
he
cut off his
does.
God. No. I don't want to cut off his head. That's too simple. I want to like stab him like through his maw where those tentacles are coming out.
Okay. As you sort of
Nice.
able to angle a thrust in, drive it up through like his mouth, which has become like this, like when the tentacles like all like kind of erupt out, you see he has this sort of circular, almost beak-like mouth, and you drive the sword through that and like out the back of his head, and when you pull it up, you can see as
Dissected
he
it.
falls back and his head kind of is open, you can see that most of the human part of him has been pushed aside in his skull. And it's actually like the skull is brittle. It falls like pieces of like a jigsaw puzzle out of the back. And the head of this like cephalopod like creature is what's inside of his cranium, and it is just split in half.
Grotesque.
Yeah, gross.
What he said.
As Jarek brings the unconscious body of this person along, you hear through the door on the opposite side, you hear the guards burst in, like, what's wrong? And they're kind of like looking to assess the situation.
Like behind us?
Yep.
Okay. What happened to the worm that was in his hand that he was trying to put into
It's
the
like
guy?
wriggling away on the floor. You see it like on the boards like over here.
I want to go stomp on it.
Okay.
Okay.
You just walk over and put a boot right on it.
Alright, and
Good
I'm
call.
assuming... What's this room to the left?
I'll say the door's kind of ajar. It's an inn, so it's like a room that you can rent for the night.
Oh, okay, so it's not out. It's not like here. It's not outside.
That if you open that door, you do see stairs that lead up to like a terrace.
It's a way out.
But not like the street.
No, you're here. Like this area is street. That's like a balcony type area.
Gotcha.
The door to Jarek's like immediate north is actually, it leads into another one of these rooms. It's just under the terrace.
I gotcha. Okay, we're gonna keep going this way then.
Okay. Actually, just stay where you were. I'm gonna move Jarek. Like he's gonna be alongside you. I'm gonna get rid of this. It will just advance. Ah, not that.
Ah!
We went too far.
Actually, at this point, tactical combat has stopped. I will just kind of drag us back to the Name and A map. It's okay. So as you burst through that section, you're back out. Like you see more townsfolk kind of like making for another exit, kind of into the other side of the street. Pandemonium kind of going like what's going on? The guy just saying they used magic, the creatures, and he's just like going nuts. And you see people like getting up to try to like poke through to see what's going on, and some people leaving, grabbing guards at, like outside the street. What do you want to do?
I want to take her back to... Are we staying on the boat, or where are we staying?
Well, you remember that your friends were staying with, Argos in the Elven District tonight, so probably not a good idea to take a infected corpse person. Or she's not a corpse, she's not dead, she's just knocked out. So a crazy psychic squid assassin.
Actually, that's exactly what we're gonna do. If that's where everyone else is staying, that's where I want to go.
Okay. As you make your way out into the night, go ahead and give me a stealth.
Sneaky. Oops. Stealthy.
Oh, it's up there. +3. 15.
As you're kind of pushing through and going around, one of the guards sees Jarek holding that woman on goes like, he says, "Hey!" and he starts to rush after her, and then you see a Templar next to him also start to come over.
Oh, shit.
Jarek just kind of looks and just says, "We should just dump this body."
Do I still have the worm?
No, you fried that one.
All right, fine. Yeah, we'll dump her.
Okay. You see Jarek he like holds her over his head and just throws her like a fucking like sack of potatoes at the guard. He catches her and like just topples over. Falls back. The Templar kind of like looks down, and as she looks back up at you with your 15 stealth, you're already down the way. Go ahead and give me a. Oh, let's see. Let's say insight. Give me an insight.
Uh, 17 this time.
As you're working your way through the streets, you realize you don't know exactly where the Elven District is.
Oops.
So as you sort of run around in a frenzy, it's getting later and later and later. You probably decide that ducking into just an inn for the night and bedding down in some random inn would probably be best for you.
Fine.
Fine.
Okay. As you find an inn and go to sleep, the next day happens. Oh, nobody's found Kiliani. Jared. We find you kind of repairing your stuff. Go ahead and give me. You're using mending.
Yes.
Okay, if you're gonna use mending to repair that, I'll say you don't have to make the check, but you still have to use the components. But you can only do it once. You can't just mend all your armor scraps away.
All right.
So, as you're walking around, you got your armor repaired. What was the other thing you're gonna do for the day?
That was mostly it. I guess I would probably just go to seek any sort of park or natural area just to seek out life and maybe meditate.
You wanted to see an alchemist to maybe get your psychic armor wax. Was that a thing you were gonna do?
You did say they sold similar components.
Yes.
Do I know generally, just offhand, how much those components would cost per unit?
Seeing that you've never really interacted with them, I'd say not really.
Okay. Yeah, why not? Let's go see what there is to be had.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception.
Perception, I'm good at that. I'm really good at that. 17.
Okay. You find yourself in like we'll say Sage's Square. That A section there of the Sage's district. As you're walking down, you see Kiliani and Jarek. This time you guys get to use the Nibene Streets map. Haha. So, Pyretta, if you would like to place yourself somewhere on the street here, and Jesse, you are exiting the tavern that you stayed in last night. It is this building right here.
Like right there, good?
Yep.
Okay.
Which building?
This building to the north here with the red carpet in front of it. There you go. And then a very beat up Jarek is with you.
No, I healed him.
Well, he's still got scars. As you guys are exiting, Jesse, you are able to spot Pyretta as she's walking down the lane.
wave her down.
You guys lock eyes, and you see Kiliani stepping out of this tavern, seemingly at random.
Alright, I'll approach and greet him. What brings you to this part of the town?
Laying low after being assaulted by mind-controlling fanatics.
Mind controlling?
Sounds a bit hypocritical.
Sounds a bit hippopotamus.
Would you care to elaborate?
The short version is if you see anybody with white eyes going on about something called unity, kill it.
I've heard a little
Wait,
about this unity.
Don't you say stuff about Unity?
The call is coming from inside the house.
I say things about people free willingly joining my cause.
What?
Jurek does step forward. He says, "We were attacked by some strange people. They had powers in the way that I've never seen. They blasted this sort of psychic blast, and they were able to make a knife out of power. One of them grew tentacles from his mouth. His head split open. It was horrifying."
I mean, it made it easier to stab him.
Seems like we should investigate further into this. This seems not the norm around here.
Well, and they were also clearly infested because they all had these burrowing worms with them. So, I think it's best if we just lock the gates and burn this town down. How you clean out any infection.
John, does that ring a bell at all? The worm thing?
I was going to say mass genocide, maybe.
Well, I meant the
Gotta sit.
I meant the worm thing in particular.
You have heard this talk about the Unity. There are big, you see wanted posters on the walls. They attack caravans and kidnap. So yeah, you know that this is the same threat that's kind of Actually, no, you were there for that conversation with Argos. You know that the Unity is the group of raiders that have been attacking that pass to the east, and making it to the east, making it really hard for trade to go through. That's also where Jarek was, or not Jarek, but Alton was attacked too by that creature with the long black robes and the spindly arms.
Yeah. I'll fill Jesse in on that if he wasn't there for that conversation, correct?
No.
Yeah, I'll fill Kiliani in on that. Maybe we should get back to the others and put up a serious hunt, because this is kind of what we're here to do. If you'd like a cut, anyway.
I'll say as you guys are kind of conversing, Jared, you will if you want to take care of your business real quick, I can finish that up. You do stop at a alchemist shop. He is offering, he can sell you the wax. Let me hit a price for that too. Hold on.
Okay. I like this music.
For 200 GP, he has pre-done armor waxes in psychic, poison, fire, cold, and whatever lightning, like thunder. He also sells individual components for 25 per component, but he only has a limit of 10.
All right. Would he be interested at all in a dead emerald scorpion for maybe materials?
Yeah, that's actually, he says those actually provide those provide 3 poison materials, so he can give you 75 gold for that.
All right.
All right, yeah, he takes it. Valuable specimen, thank you. And he just sets it down in his little motor and pestle area.
How about any of these? I present some ooze parts and giant teeth.
He's gonna pass on the giant teeth. The ooze parts, he can give you. How many ooze parts do you have?
I have 10 in total.
He can give you 10. He'll give you gold apiece for him.
Okay, sounds fair. I'll take it. I'll take that gold and I'll apply it to purchasing the materials in the service for 1 psychic armor wax.
Okay, so you want to buy 2, and then you're gonna give him the 3 that you have.
Yes.
Okay. So I'd see if you give him 100 gold, he can do that for you. It's part of the trade.
All right, we have a deal.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and deduct that from whatever,
Boom.
thing that you had there.
All the
funds that you
numbers
had.
lined up actually.
You
Easy man.
wait like 10 minutes. You see him take some animal fat and like take a small like glass, like clay pot, flip it in, flip some of it in there, motor and pestle like all the gland, like the adrenal glands and the stuff like the psychic components, into this sort of like purplish, mash, and then slowly mix it in and fold over, mix it in. And when he hands it to you, he says, "I would apply this with a stick or some sort of small brush. Should last about a day."
All right, I was writing down. I thank him for his services, and if nothing else really catches my eye, I'll go ahead and leave to rejoin Kiliani.
Okay. Kiliani, I'll say you're just kind of like leaning like outside. Anything else you guys want to do while you're kind of out and about?
I think I'm all set.
Okay.
Profitable
You guys are
for this-
led back to Argus's camp for this one more night of kind of like, just before you set out. Kiliani, you are actually able to come in and say, see this person that kind of, possibly. Jarek's gonna be here too.
Like, oh, hey, it's that guy.
You do recognize him. You saw him in a few adventures. He says, "Oh, Kiliani," and he kind of raises an eyebrow, like, "How do you look younger?"
How have you not learned to mind your business?
It's my business not to mind my business. Anyway, it's good to see. I mean, the last time I saw you, you dove through a portal.
I believe you just answered your own question then.
What happened to? What was his name? Zax? Your halfling companion.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Boo.
He looks down and says, "Well, I'm sorry."
I'm gonna put him through even more of a mind fuck and be like, yeah, I had a few decades to get over that.
You see his his eyes kind of like look up, and he's like trying to. Okay. Yeah. That's rough, man. Okay. So. All right. If you guys want to stay the night here again tonight, we could set out tomorrow. Definitely, we have our supplies and our our route planned out. Your men seem to be prepared and fully equipped. Also, as you guys are kind of sitting here, you hear a drunken, sort of off-kilter, like warbling voice coming from down the way. From outside the tent walks Talisier. Obviously still kind of drunk. Kind of waking his way forward. and then behind him, the squawking voice
Oh, God.
of Paratrax. Is it? Hey, I found the place you told me about. Okay, move to one side, please, Miranda, please. And he kind of squeezes past you and sits down. Then you see the Arakoa kind of walk in like, oh, yes, this is a nice place, yes. And he looks over like, oh, my friend Anatar, in a small world. You weren't at the gate when I was looking for you this morning, but I found these fine folk. This must be your companions, yes? What?
Nicely said.
Yeah. Technically, these are my companions.
Wow. Rocknar, he looks at you, is like, you are a mountain of a man.
I offer him a cracker.
I'm not saying no.
I feel like that's kind of racist.
But you see, Telesur sits down and says, "Oh man, he told me this wild story about like there's a thing that happened in his cave. Like, he said there was like this flash, and there was like the night sky, and like this orb, and this thing just thrust out of it and completely blew up his cave. It was crazy."
I thought you were gonna say cage.
He kind of leans over like, man, okay, he could have said cage. I am half listening, like right now, so you could be right. And yeah, he just said these things kept coming out, like these big tentacles.
Oh, wow.
Man, it's nuts.
I'll say to Paratrax, okay, how about you tell us the story instead of tell us here?
Paratrax kind of steps forward. He's gonna take a seat. He steps forward. He tells everybody the same story he told Kiliani about. There was a shuddering in the mountain, and then this crack of energy, and this sort of like rippling orb, like almost like a portal opening, and then thrusting through it was this chitinous black, sort of almost shell-like creature that collided into the inner cave structure, knocking most of it down, like almost merging with it as it sort of teleported in. And when the this structure, there was a door that opened. He described the creatures that came out were these spindly, sort of dark cloaked, bluish, purplish skinned creatures with these long faces with tentacle mouths and red eyes, just busted out of the ship and started using the way against whatever creatures were in their way. He says he has a group of his people in the mountains, kind of farther away from the Unities area. He saved about maybe 20-25 fellow Arakoans, but the rest of his people have been taken like essentially captive.
Well, it looks like all the paths that are intersecting here. Your quest, then I'll gesture to Argus, and I'll say your quest, and I'll gesture to Paratrax. Let's say, and all of us connecting the two.
Oh.
I do say we've got some mutual benefits here.
What a coinky dink.
Argus kind of looks like, well, at least I know I have some company for this expedition. You see Argus's daughter kind of like cringing behind Jarek as he's sitting there, like he's describing the story of these creatures, and she looks up and says, "Did these, Mom? Do these things exist? Is this normal?" And Loba looks down, and she actually looks kind of like disturbed. She's like, "No, this isn't anything I've ever seen before or heard of before. Why don't you we'll get you to bed." And she kind of leads her out into the next, into the tent here. Argus looks down. He says, "Well, this doesn't change my decision. If anything, it just makes it more urgent. I know House Shom has been looking to get rid of these things, and if we maybe go to this ship or this craft or creature or whatever that these things came out of, maybe we might be able to find the source and put a stop to it. Who knows? Any other ideas? Any questions, concerns? I mean, I'm not dissuaded. I need to get my people through that pass, and it's just extra incentive. I don't want them to be attacked by these creatures.
Yeah.
In my various travels through the multiverse, have I encountered or heard of such things?
Give me an insight.
20.
You have encountered these creatures before, at once or twice in your trip. Especially in the city of Sigil, where you were in the city for about a couple years tracking down things. You know these creatures are called illithids. They are a parasitic psychic life form, alien to Athos, but it sounds as though one of their craft accidentally teleported to this plane, most likely infecting their local populace.
I will share that horrifying news.
Oh boy. We are dealing with the flayers.
Paratrax kind of plops down. He says, "My people are attacked by creatures from another plane of existence. The winds did not tell me this would be a thing I'd have to deal with, but I'll do what I have to just defend my people." Telesur is just like, well, I'll stay on the ship. I'll watch after the provisions, but man, I'm not gonna fight anything from another dimension.
That is why no one will remember your name.
As the night kind of goes along, you guys bed down again for, kind of uneasily.
Oh well.
Knowing that, tomorrow you're gonna have to fight creatures from another plane of existence. We take the scene to outside of the gates of Nibene, of the Melkiliot Gate. You guys have hitched all 6 of your Crodlu to the front of the ship. Alton takes the helm and sort of uses the levitation throne to make the silt skimmer almost as light as a normal cart, while he's concentrating his psychic energy into it. As you guys kind of fold the sails and pull them down and just kind of pull it like a giant cart along the trade road. Taking your troops with you, Argus kind of sharpening his swords, getting ready for anything, and Paratrax, you see him like kind of up in the crow's nest, perched, just kind of crouching, like looking over cautiously, as you guys take the winding road out of Nibene, leaving the city of Spires, heading north toward the pass. So, as you guys enter Bramwell Pass, that's where I'm going. I'm sorry it was not a combat-heavy session tonight, but I am going to call it for tonight. As we lead into the pass, we'll pick up next time dealing with the alien entities known as the Unity and their foul creations.
Woo.
Unity. That's the whole time I'm like, there was this imprint in his head for like a week. Unity. Everybody, I will give you. I'll do 10 experience. This is kind of just a role-playing session tonight.
Level up. All right, that's what I needed for a level up.
So,
Yeah.
Level up.
We will pick up next time. And like I said, there's not a lot of combat. This one, but I just had to set up the story.
No, that's
and,
cool from time to time.
Yeah, we'll get into the nitty gritty of fighting the Unity and finding out their secrets next time. So,
All right, well,
everybody, if you tuned in, thank you for watching us. I had a wonderful time as always with my friends.
yeah,
and,
thank you so much. This was
See you
very
next time.
captivating. But have a good night, everybody. I'll probably pop back in the chat here after a minute, but I'm gonna go close everything out. So be right back. All right. That being said, hello, back to the face cam. I got buttons to do things for me now. But hey, thank you for tuning in for episode 8 of Dark Sun tonight. We had a great time tonight. It was very exposition heavy, like he said, a little bit of the combat, but hey, Conrad, thank you for coming in. Have a good night. You have a good weekend. Like I said earlier in chat, I'm gonna shoot for Monday around 7 o'clock, pick up Bioshock again. I had fun doing that. We'll pick up where we left off in Arcadia. But I had a great time tonight. I know it's been a minute since I've streamed. I just had kind of a wreck of a week and a half there. Just wasn't feeling good, run down for a few days, and then I ended up getting a tetanus shot, which made me feel like crap for a few more days. So, but yeah, anyway, Monday, hopefully, be doing some Bioshock. But I'll see y'all later. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Laters.